Here we go then, a new season of full match commentaries on BBC Radio Suffolk, and we begin with the opening fixture of the new Championship campaign. Ipswich Town are at Birmingham City with former Town captain Mick Mills and your commentator Brenna Woolley watching from St Andrews.
Here we are, the very first game of the new Championship season. 69 hours of footballing action stand between Ipswich Town and return to the Premier League, also we're all hoping. Less than 11 weeks since the defeat to West Ham rounded off a fairly miserable first top-flight season for 23 years. The Blues are back in competitive action, away to a side that also wasn't playing at this level last year. Birmingham are back after just one season in League One, and what a campaign it was. Chris Davies' side stormed to the title, amassing a record-breaking 111 points along the way. Unlike Ipswich, tonight's opponents are used to winning matches. Look, a very dangerous animal indeed. For me, Ipswich couldn't have landed too many tougher opening fixtures. Still, win this one and it'll be a terrific statement, a real confidence booster for players and fans alike. Whatever happens, you'll hear it live on BBC Radio Suffolk. This and at least another 47 commentaries are on their way between now and May the 2nd, or of course whenever the season ends. And Mick, you must be as excited as the rest of us for what the season might have in store.
Yes, I am. I obviously, like everybody else, it was a great experience to be up in the Premier League. We didn't do as well as we possibly expected to do, but it was very interesting to go up there and see the big players play. And believe you me, the standard of the Premier League was excellent. We're now back in the Championship, but you wouldn't actually know it sat in the stadium at the moment. This is absolutely... Birmingham have got a decent stadium. It's a bigger stadium. It's absolutely chock-a-block tonight. The atmosphere is as good as I've known it at Birmingham. I mean, I worked here for 6 years, so I know all that there is to know about this club. It's a big club. This is going to be a terrific match. It's going to be a great test of what we're able to do this season. I'm going into the season a little bit concerned that maybe we've made a little bit too many changes to the actual starting 11 to have the confidence that we're going to start the season off the way that we should start it off. Individually, I haven't a problem. Collectively is where I've got a slight concern, and maybe the partnerships are all relatively new. Dara O'Shea, Jacob Reeves, they've got a bit of experience together. Leif Davis, Jack Clark as well. But generally speaking, this is quite new for Kieran McKenna. So it's going to be interesting to see how we fare against a Birmingham team that have coming off the back of a very, very good season. But you've got to remember, that was in the First Division. We had a difficult season in the Premier League, so maybe we're still going to be in charge of this affair.
Just waiting for the two teams to come out of the tunnel, the two captains standing next to one another at the moment. Town, incidentally, in all red tonight, because of course Birmingham always play in blue here. Dara O'Shea, the recently installed new club captain, now that Sam Morsey has moved on. He's there in front of Alex Palmer with the armband, alongside Christoph Clara, the Austrian who skippers Birmingham City. Just saw Cedric Kipre giving Ryan Alsop, their goalkeeper, a huge bear hug full of grins. They played together at West Brom earlier on in their careers. As the pyrotechnics go off to our right-hand side, welcoming the two teams out onto the pitch here, which is like a bowling green, as you'd imagine, on the opening day of the season at St Andrews. A lovely playing surface, no excuses there for either of these sets of players. Both teams known for playing passing, possession-based football. For Birmingham at the moment, they've got their blue tracksuit tops on over their all-blue kit otherwise. Ipswich Town in all red, as the smoke floats around St Andrews. As Mick was just saying a few moments ago, the atmosphere could not be better. We arrived within the vicinity of the ground probably 2.5, 3 hours or so ago, and there was a real buzz, the kind of buzz that we felt really the last two seasons when they started at Portman Road, since Town got promoted to the Championship, and then that game against Liverpool in the Premier League last year. So we know what it's all about, but there is a real life has been breathed back into this club in recent times. Should be a really good game of football on BBC Radio Suffolk. We go through the two teams then. Just the one debutante from the start for Ipswich Town. That's Azor Matusiwa. playing with the number 5 on his back, the Dutchman brought in from French football in the summer. And aside from that, all players that we kind of know from last season. The other headline really is that Chiewog Benny, who hasn't even started a game in pre-season. His last start for Ipswich Town was against Brentford when he had that nasty Achilles injury last October. Starts this game. So Palmer is in goal. The back 4 is Johnson, O'Shea the captain, Greaves and Davis. Then Matthew Siwa alongside Taylor. Then a 3 of Ogbeni, Smodics, who got 27 goals in his last championship season, and Jack Clark, who was scintillating for Sunderland at this level. George Hurst, he's been amongst the goals pre-season. He leads the line with number 9 on his back this season. On the bench, Walton, Chaplin, Wolfenden, Al-Hamidi, who's also been scoring goals pre-season, Broadhead, Kipre, who I mentioned, Young, Humphreys, and the youngster Finn Barbrook, 20-year-old midfielder from Southwold, who has impressed in pre-season. He could get his first taste of competitive action. What a night it might be for him. 3 debutants for Birmingham. Osei Samuel at right back, Neumann at centre-half, and then Kyogo, who will probably play up top in front of Stansfield. Allsop, who I mentioned is their goalkeeper, he had a terrific season last year in League One. His back 4, Osei Samuel, Neumann, Clara the captain, and Cochrane. Their 2 apparently are exceptional, Tomoki and Peck. Then you've got Gray making his second debut for the club. Came through here as a teenager, made 70-odd appearances before playing for the likes of Leicester and Everton, also had a spell abroad as well. Stansfield will probably be in the 10, Anderson off to his left, with, as I say, Kyogo up top leading the line, although he and Stansfield will interchange. Both can play number 9, both can play number 10. On the bench, Beadle on loan from Brighton, the England under-21 goalkeeper hero this summer, played alongside Amari Hutchinson, who incidentally is not here. Amari Hutchinson, I just got that bit of news before Graham came to us a few moments ago. The outfield players on the bench for Birmingham: Laird, who impressed here a couple of seasons ago, Bielik, Cashin, Doyle, Leonard, Gardner-Hickman, Williamson and Dykes. Just listen to St Andrews as the 2 teams switch around ahead of this game. So Town in all red up against the all blue of Birmingham. Birmingham with the golden numbers on their back, and it really has been a golden 12 months for this club. The League One title, won with weeks to spare. Their first trophy since the League Cup of 2011. The 2 sets of players go into their pre-match huddles either side of the centre circle. The referee tonight taking charge of the first championship game of the season, Andrew Kitchen. The Town's defeat at Leicester in May, coincidentally their last away game, of course. Birmingham, who are unbeaten in the last 25 league games on this pitch. Their 3 defeats, the only 3 games they lost last season, were all away. And incidentally, and I know it's comparing apples and pears because one was in the Premier League, one was in League One. Town won 22 points last season. Birmingham won more than that in April and May. The man in all black, Mr. Kitchen, giving the thumbs up to both Ryan Allsop off to my right and Alex Palmer off to my left. This game is about to get underway. It is Birmingham with Stansfield back to Allsop in Knoll Green, the number 21, 30 yards of his goal line. Hammers it to the far side towards Demarai Gray, who was a terrific talent when he broke onto the scene here. It's not just been about the Bellinghams in this part of the world in terms of the Birmingham Academy the last 15 years or so. Still has plenty to offer, Demarai Gray, at only 29. Here is the blonde-haired Clara playing as the left-hand side of the 2 centre-halves. Infield from Anderson, slips the ball to Peck with a little ponytail. The Japanese gets to the centre circle before playing the ball to his right. Touch forward by Neumann, the German, to Osei Samuel, who we saw play for Blackpool against Ipswich Town years ago. He's been with Fenerbahce in Turkey in recent seasons. Bright Osei Samuel, back with Allsop, plenty possession for Birmingham early doors. Hurst closes down the keeper, who's very experienced. It's like his 14th professional club, Birmingham City. Ryan Allsop. There is a Brummie by birth. Flags up against Ipswich Town. Free kick in the back to Birmingham. Should be a good game as well, Mick.
Yeah, it should be. I think that purely and simply, I think you've got a Birmingham side who are absolutely full of confidence. They're going to try and play the possession game, but Town are already sort of putting quite a bit of pressure on them. And I think that we will sort of see us winning the ball back a lot quicker than Birmingham are used to having it done.
Anderson infield for Tomoki, caught late by Johnson was Anderson. Chris Davies appealed for the free kick. The referee's paid a good advantage. Gray with the number 10 on his shirt, has it on the far side, making running behind as Osei Samuel. He's gone backwards though to the South Korean in midfield, Peck. Had 6 years at Barcelona early on in his career. They have so highly rated, Tomoki and Peck. Got other Asian players in and around the squad as well. They've fought well from that part of the world in recent times. Birmingham, here is Tomoki again, seeing plenty of the ball, good ball forward to Kyogo, lovely spin by Kyogo, the former Celtic player. Kyogo to the left hand side, Birmingham maybe with the first chance of the game. Anderson knocks it deep beyond the far post, too deep for anyone. Palmer will get an early kick off the floor. Good play from Birmingham.
Yeah, very good play from Birmingham. That's the very first pass that had a little bit of risk on it. Everything else has been straightforward, but that one from Tomoki had the risk on it, but it was the most effective pass of the night, and Birmingham from that position were able to sort of get it wide left and a decent cross into the back post, but unfortunately for them nobody was able to attack it. But that's the first real decent pass of the night.
Ipswich goalkeeper Palmer getting a little bit of grief, probably for what was deemed to be time wasting, but also possibly because of his connections to the Hawthorns. Had a play on this near side for a throw into Ben Johnson. Player I think could have a very good season for Ipswich Town, Ben Johnson. He's got competition at right back in Ashley Young, and also when he's fit again Harry Clark, although like of course Connor Townsend unavailable tonight due to injury. There is Ogbeni, massive ask of him. It's a real vote of confidence, or maybe just needs must without Hutchinson and Burns at the moment for Kieran McKenna. Had to throw the former Rotherham man straight in there. Here is Cochrane, came through at Brighton as a kid before going abroad and then making his name at Hearts. Did come through the England ranks, had a very good season last year. Alex Cochrane, the blonde-haired left back. As Chris Davis throwing him the ball, a real disciple of Brendan Rodgers. Chris Davis, the manager of Birmingham, if he's somebody you're not too familiar with. He's only 40, he was with Brendan Rodgers at Swansea, Liverpool, Celtic, Leicester. He kind of finished his graduation, if you like, with Postecoglou at Tottenham.
This boy can certainly throw it, so we mustn't squeeze up too much because he can throw it over the top of the defence.
Go towards Kyogo, who arrived from Rennes for 10 million this summer. Here is right back Johnson. Yeah, Kyogo and Matusiwa were colleagues in French football last season, up against each other as they both make their championship debuts, although Kyogo knows all about British football, scored lots of goals for Celtic a few years ago. Here's a throw in for Town at right back, Johnson to take it 0-0, 4.5 on the clock at St Andrews. Birmingham had the bulk of possession, just that one slight threat to the Ipswich Town goal, but no saves been made just yet as a few late arrivals get into the director's box down below. Here is Johnson again, with a throw-in directly in front of Kieran McKenna. That's his second season as a Town player. Again, he's getting a bit of stick for not throwing the ball back in play early enough. Clara challenges Hurst, cleared away by Tomoki. Didn't take any chances with that, as Chris Davis complains to the fourth official, John Busby.
Well, for the last 2 or 3 minutes, every player, every 22 players are in this half of the pitch. The whole left side of the Town, that strip over to the touchline, is completely empty, and all we're seeing is throwing after throwing.
Hurst's gone down, and a challenge from Clara. Clara's having none of it. It's been given as a free kick for Ipswich Town. A few Town players haven't even touched the ball. Neither midfielder has, Matusiwa or Taylor. Jack Clark might get his first touch now from this dead ball. Understandably, an awful lot of people expecting big things from Jack Clark this season, bearing in mind what he did for Sunderland a couple of years ago, and also the way that he was a standout player when Town faced championship opposition in Coventry in the FA Cup back in January. Best player on the field by a mile. Should have a good season. Johnson on the right wing with an Ipswich Town free kick. Chance for him to maybe puncture the Birmingham balloon early on at St Andrews. 6 minutes gone in this championship opener. It's a gorgeous evening in the West Midlands. Johnson plays this diagonal into the Birmingham box. O'Shea goes down in the D, recycled by Greaves, back to Clark. Clark slips at an unfortunate moment and then wins it back illegally says Mr. Kitchen, just as he's about to fire towards goal. It's a free kick to Birmingham.
Yeah, it was all good there. The free kick was drilled beautifully to the back post for O'Shea. So just not to head towards goal, but just knock it down for Clark. That all worked nicely. Clark actually received it nicely, but then lost his footing, you know. So 3/4 of the move was good. The very final part was disappointing.
Mick Mills with us tonight on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport, watching Ipswich Town away at Birmingham City. First of 46 championship matches this season. As the bulk of those are tomorrow. Southampton play Wrexham. As Greaves underneath there in trouble. Kyogo over the top of Palmer, and it won't count. The flag has gone up. Birmingham fans celebrate. It's a nice finish from Kyogo after Town were in a bit of a muddle at the back. Palmer was stranded, and the Japanese lifted the ball looking over the top of him, but the whistle has gone, and we're still 0-0. And now the boos start from the home fans through frustration.
Well, I think we've got lucky, to be perfectly honest. I think Jacob Greaves was in 2 or even 3 minds as to what to do with that bouncing ball. He didn't deal with it, and the finish from Kyogo was absolutely excellent.
Well,
the free kick has been given to Town, but I'm not sure about it.
Oh no, Town have got away with one there for me. I didn't see a great deal wrong with that. Anyway, headed forward by Taylor. Free kick at the back for Birmingham. Took it really well, Kyogo. He's a very gifted player. Didn't really get much of an opportunity with Rennes last season, perhaps surprisingly. As I said earlier on, he was a goal machine north of the border. Back to Allsop, who is a footballing goalkeeper, I understand. Had a little bit of time on the ball. Then he lumps it long. Birmingham mixing it up. Kyogo trying to cause Greaves some problems. It's a fascinating battle between the two. Greaves gets it back to Palmer. Home fans still incensed from the goal that wasn't, and also some of the treatment that Kyogo's getting. 8 minutes gone, 0-0, live on BBC Radio Suffolk.
This is going to be a real test the next few minutes for Jacob Greaves. If the ball comes into his area at all, he's made one mistake. He again was a little bit tentative.
Birmingham player say Samuel's gone down, caught by Clark, who didn't really see him coming in his rear view mirror. Free kick, nothing more. Fair enough, referee. A bit of an edge to this. Sparked into life in recent times. It looked like being a good game. Yeah, I mentioned Southampton playing Wrexham tomorrow. The other relegated side, Leicester, host Sheffield Wednesday. What a state Sheffield Wednesday are in at the moment. That's Sunday tea times game. Norwich host Millwall tomorrow. And of course tonight it's all about Ipswich Town away at Birmingham City. Come next Sunday for Ipswich. Allsop back to Clara, forward towards Beck, the midfielder. Cochrane down the left-hand side, looking for Stansfield, yet to get involved in the game. O'Shea's chest takes it out of play. Stansfield with a quick throw into the box, trying to get Anderson in there. Cross comes Greaves, covering him well behind O'Shea, heading the ball out for a throw to Birmingham outside the Ipswich Town penalty area. Stansfield onto the chest of Kyogo. Now Anderson spins it back to Cochrane. Cochrane first touch, lovely bent ball into the box. That's a sensational cross, well defended by Leif Davis. Goes as far as the Birmingham player Tomoki, volleyed up in the air by Clark to halfway. Neumann gets the better of Hurst. Matosiwa, who's yet to touch the ball with his feet, I think, won a header at least. Now on this left-hand side, it's Anderson. Seen next to nothing of Taylor and Matosiwa in the centre of the park so far. Not playing the wide areas.
No, I think at the moment it's pretty much all Birmingham, and they are testing us out. They're certainly testing the 2 centre-backs out. Free kick for Birmingham there. There is a slight suggestion that our organised press could cause problems to the Birmingham defence.
Cochrane, good ball in behind, looking for Kyogo. The flick header by Greaves. Greaves has got his work cut out against a very, very lively Birmingham number 9.
Yeah, he is lively. That's another testing ball. That's gone from 15 yards in the Birmingham half, and it's almost given possession to Kyogo just inside the Town box.
But good so far, Birmingham. Still 0-0 there. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Here is Benny kneeing the ball in field to Smodic. Smodic's trying to head it in behind for Hurst, volleyed away by Birmingham. Town yet to get a foothold in this game, really, and get people involved. Very briefest of touches for the succession of players in red. Nothing's been knitted together just yet. None of those patterns of play that Kieran McKenna talked about, but he will have expected this sort of start from Birmingham. Taylor gives the ball to Johnson. Johnson left-footed, switches it to the far side. Leif Davis won't be able to keep it in. That's applauded by the home crowd. Osei Samuel. Birmingham trying to do everything at a rate of knots. Immediately the throw-in's taken. There is Tomoki down the line to Gray from Osei Samuel. Osei Samuel's continued his run. Gray comes in field, skips away from Matusiwa. In comes his cross. Johnson volleys it away as far as Peck. Disguise ball into the box. Doesn't come back via Osei Samuel towards Peck. Here is Tomoki also in midfield. Gives it to Cochrane. Cochrane closed down by Ogbeni. Ipswich Town trying to deal with a bit of a storm from Birmingham City inside these first exactly 12 minutes gone.
Yeah, I think we're struggling a little bit because we're not settled. I know you sometimes do have a team playing at home. They start quickly and they can cause you one or two problems. But just looking at our sort of demeanour, we don't look comfortable.
Benny trying to take on players as near side. He was unlucky, couldn't get beyond Cochrane and Clara. Now it's with Anderson. Anderson gets the ball between two Town players, Matusiwa and Smodics. Now Tomoki plays it square towards Osei Samuel, who gallops forward, held up by Jack Clark, who went with him stride for stride. Given away by Osei Samuel to Smodics. Smodics can't link up with Hurst, and quickly Birmingham get back on the ball. They're ruling possession for sure at the moment. Birmingham, tough night this for Town, which is exactly what we expected. Here is Peck, very talented player, gives it to Cochrane, now in his third season here. Peck, he's a survivor from the side that went down under Wayne Rooney a couple of years ago. Here is Tomoki, shoved in the back by Hurst through frustration, free kick. The referee will have a little word with George Hurst.
Yeah, it's very untidy at the moment. We don't actually look that good as a collective unit. You know, I ideally want to see Alex Palmer with the ball in his hand so we can start throwing the ball out, playing some short passing to get some sort of confidence into the team.
Yeah, different level at the moment, Birmingham. Here is Cochrane in towards Peck. Peck rolls it back to Cochrane. Now Clara makes himself available on the edge of the Birmingham box. Actually had a little spell at Southampton as a young teenager. Clara went back to German football, the Austrian, but picked up by Birmingham last summer, a virtual ever-present in their return to the Championship. Chris Davis dropping the ball down for Cochrane to take this free kick in front of the Birmingham dugout. It has to be said, I haven't got a good record on this ground. One win in the last 20 visits in all competitions. That victory, Mick McCarthy's first game in charge, nearly 13 years ago. Johnson gets in the muddle under illegal pressure from Anderson, says the referee, after having a good look at it. It's a free kick to Johnson at right back, although there have been a lot of draws in recent times between these two teams. The last time here, you might remember, it was the late 2-2 thanks to a couple of goals from Marcus Harness. 0-0 after 14 and a half here tonight in front of the TV cameras as well, as Town are quite a lot in the coming weeks. Palmer again wasting time to the obvious frustration of Chris Davis. Palmer was always going to start the season as Ipswich Town's number one. I would imagine Walton will start on Tuesday. A chance for the likes of him and Wolfenden and Kipre and Ashley Young. Hurst battling with Clara. Nice little touchdown from Hurst, but then Anderson got it. He's caught late by Johnson. Johnson must be going very close to a yellow card. And he's had 2 or 3 mini yellow card challenges so far. They are mounting up. Tom Huddleston, one of the coaching staff at Birmingham's, telling the fourth official as much. So Johnson's just got to watch his step and keep out of the referee's eye for a little while.
I think the referee has just had a word with Johnson, Ben Johnson. So he has been, I wouldn't say he's struggling against the Anderson, the left sider, but he looks very untidy with his challenges.
John O'Shea's just turned. Is it the Republic of Ireland manager, John O'Shea? Oh no, he's not. He's involved in that setup. Here we're here possibly to watch Dara O'Shea and 1 or 2 others, one would have thought. Jack Taylor, Sam Smodics. Not a big surprise that the former Manchester United and Sunderland man is here. Goal kick to Ipswich Town, which Greaves gives back to Palmer. Referee wants a retake. Ipswich Town, right from pretty much the word go, have been accused of time wasting here tonight by the home crowd. Just got used to seeing their team win here and have it their own way last season. O'Shea closed down by Stansfield. It's a massive part of Stansfield's game, defending from the front. Benny brought down. Free kick given Ipswich Town's way. Kieran McKenna protested.
Well, we went short from the goalkeeper there, and then we got out Dara O'Shea's ball up, so Benny was excellent, and he would have got free of Cochrane if he hadn't have been fouled, but we need some possession.
Well, Benny to Smodics. Smodics beaten by a couple of players. In goes Peck. Ball comes back to Smodics eventually. Johnson infield to Taylor. Taylor over the top for Benny to run onto. Cochrane gets a head start and clips it out square. Can at least have a throw in. Outside, it's a corner kick. First corner kick of the night has gone Ipswich Town's way now. Here's an opportunity against the run of play.
Yeah, we've had nothing really as far as football is concerned in attack, but we've won one free kick that we did quite well with on diagonal. Now we've won a corner kick, so, you know, sometimes you have to wait, and it's a set play that gets you going.
Fingers crossed Ipswich Town can do something from this first corner kick of the game. Hardly had a kick so far in open play. Birmingham so far on top in this match. Still 0-0 though, and it comes from Davis towards the far stick, headed up by Clara towards Jack Clark, who nods it down, but only to Asay Samuel, trying to get the better of Smodics. In will go Taylor. Taylor wins it for Town, then goes to ground, out of play for a throw to Birmingham. Taylor unhappy with a chance from Asay Samuel, and he squares up to a bit silly. In steps the big man Neumann, holding off Smodics far side. Hurst's also having a say and dragging somebody back. The referee's trying to restore some order, or at least hoping things settle down. Stansfield, no shrinking violet, was a player being dragged back by Hurst. Full spot by Jack Taylor, being unhappy. The decision went against him. Let's see what the referee's going to do.
Yeah, we mustn't sort of stir this crowd up, because they can be very, very noisy and very much with their team. This at the moment is without question a game that you've got to desperately try and slow down.
Referee currently speaking to both Taylor and Asay Samuel. A yellow card for Taylor and a yellow card for Asay Samuel. First two of the evening. Play will resume, one would imagine, just with a Birmingham throw on the far side of the field. They seemed to kick off after the ball had gone out of play. Really see that Asay Samuel did a lot wrong there, but anyway. Card apiece, onwards we go, 0-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Kyogo's going to try and get in behind O'Shea. It was on this occasion, the last man in red for Town. Hurst with a flick on header to Smodics. Smodics might be able to go through. Neumann went in there and made a very important interception for Birmingham. The ball goes out wide. 40 through to Ipswich Town, but there's the first half a sniff of a chance for Town in this match.
Yeah, very much so. It was a little bit of a mistake in the central areas of the Birmingham defence. We almost seized upon it and sort of almost got something from it, but we're just edging our way back into the game. We've got to continue to do this.
It's a good header on from Hurst actually for Smodics. Johnson throws the ball into the Birmingham area, headed away by Cochrane, nodded forward again by Matusiwa, headed down on the right hand side by Anderson, but he was being fouled, so Benny doesn't get the chance to deliver into the centre as he was hoping to do. I still don't think Matusiwa's touched the ball with his feet yet.
No.
I just can't remember him. The only times I've mentioned his name have been when he's been up for a header.
Yeah, we just haven't had the possession really in any area of the pitch to sort of get those two in the centre into the game. You know, Jack Taylor, he'll come in with a challenge or two, but we need those two on the ball. We need Sammy Smodics on the ball.
Tomoki wins it ahead of Clark, loops it into some open ground far side. Asay Samuel makes up the grass and gets on the ball before going back towards Allsop. It's Birmingham City versus Ipswich Town, live in the Championship, live every kick on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Cochrane forward, looking towards Stansfield. Matusiwa got the ball and played it forward to Smodics. His confidence a while ago. Birmingham down the left-hand side. Stansfield running at the Ipswich Town defence. Comes in field away from Matusiwa. Lovely ball to Kyogo into the side netting. Probably a reverse pass with disguise on it from Stansfield to his strike partner, but Kyogo didn't hit it as he would have wished, and it's straight out behind.
Yeah, we've given the ball back down our right-hand side far too easily. Birmingham have seized upon it, and credit to them, they've made something happen. And the boy Kyogo up front looks really lively with Stansfield behind him, you know, giving him some support. Gray, who plays wide right attacker, is coming right in off that line and joining in. So there becomes a lot of pressure on our two centre-backs.
Town again taking their time over this goal kick. Eventually Palmer knocks it to Clara, so it didn't work out. Here is Stansfield for Birmingham, booted away by O'Shea. Just favoured him, the bounce and the D on the edge of the Ipswich area. Here is Smodics, had that terrific season for Blackburn last time at this level. Davis down the left for Clark. Poor ball from Davis. Clark nudged up against Neumann and won his side a throw-in, which is probably all he could do in that area. Leif Davis on this throw-in for Ipswich Town, another player who had a terrific last season in the Championship. You must remember, it wasn't just about the players Town signed last summer that had excellent Championship season. So too had the likes of Davis and Chaplin in this Ipswich Town squad tonight. Here is Davis with a throw into the Birmingham area at 0-0. Neumann and Clara put their heads together and nodded it away as one. Then Osei Samuel, both feet off the deck, volleys his clearance, but Matusiwa's header reaches Davis. Davis in field to Greaves. Greaves heads it on for Smodics. Smodics wide left outside the Birmingham area. Chips across the far stick. He did very well, Sam Smodics. Nice bit of improvisation. Sadly, the only player beyond the far post was Anderson of Birmingham. He clears. Stansfield can't get a hold of it. Birmingham get it in the middle. Peck gives the ball away to Taylor. Taylor to Smodics. Smodics has a go. It deflects off Neumann. Definitely better from Town at the moment. Matusiwa with a good headed pass to the far side, and Davis infield to Taylor. He loses out there to Gray. Gray back to Peck, the number 8 for Birmingham, and Tomoki very close to him. Birmingham now with Clara inside his penalty area. Out to the left-hand side, he finds Cochrane. Back it goes towards Peck. And now Cochrane. In case you're joining us a little bit late, didn't hear the team news. No Amari Hutchinson for Ipswich Town anywhere to be seen tonight. Ashley Young on the bench. Matusiwa is in for his debut. Leif Davis also in the team. He'd been a concern. And Chiawog Benny, bit of a surprise to us all that he started this game after so long out. I think most of us thought he'd maybe get a start on Tuesday at Bromley. As Anderson launches the ball back into his penalty area, brought down on the chest of Clara. Two big strong lads at the back for Birmingham. Out from Alsop, terrible, straight to Smodics. Smodics hits it wide. Oh, that was a chance for Ipswich Town given to them by Birmingham City from pretty much nowhere. Smodics possibly could have done better.
Well, that's typical of today's football, where the risk in your own penalty area sometimes is far too great, and if it's backed up by bad selection, which it was on that time, you can get yourself in all sorts of trouble. And Birmingham completely and utterly messed up, and Smodics had a fabulous chance. He tried really maybe to get too much on it. He should have gone for accuracy more than pace. It was a great opportunity.
Better from Town in recent times, albeit that was gifted to them, that opportunity, by some poor play from Birmingham. Here is Clara. Birmingham trying to settle. Not so much between the two sides at the moment. Really, since Ipswich Town got that corner kick. Birmingham going long, trying to mix it up. Stansfield against O'Shea. O'Shea heads it away. Anderson shoves Matusiwa to the ground. No, says the referee, play on. Peck, shaped to shoot from a long way out. It was a disguise. Out to the left-hand side, Anderson. Faced by Johnson on this left wing. In it comes, headed away by Matusiwa. Out to Cochrane, rolls it a few yards square to Peck, takes numerous touches, a little ball into the box looking for Kyogo, headed away by O'Shea. Matusiwa's robbed. Stansfield edge of the area closed down by Taylor. Important work from Taylor. There it was. Neumann with a header down. Town clear for Hurst, but Cochrane wins a header before George Hurst, who's running around there, unable to get on the ball, working hard. Matusiwa's little header ends up in the possession of Anderson. Good challenge, well won by Matusiwa. It's grown into the game, seen a bit more of the ball. Here is Johnson. Back to Dara O'Shea, captained Ipswich Town a few times last season. Would have been a shock if he hadn't been handed the armband on a permanent basis when Sam Morsey departed. Greaves to Davis on the far side. Infield to Hurst outside the area. Hurst reverse ball, trying to get Smodics in on goal. Cleared away by Birmingham, nodded down by Kyogo. Definitely Town in this match. Johnson to Ogbeni. Kieran McKenna lively on this near side. Dara O'Shea back with Alex Palmer, who of course started last season in the Championship with West Brom. Palmer up towards Hurst. Hurst with a header on, doesn't reach Smodics. Instead it's Clara. And then Cochrane, who gives it back to his goalkeeper. We're still waiting for the first goal of the night live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Kyogo had the ball in the net fairly early on, but it was ruled out for a foul on Greaves. And then Town had come closest when Alsop gave the ball away, and Smodics' driven effort went beyond his right post, much to the man in green's relief. Birmingham again on this near side with Anderson. Back it goes to Clara. Now with Alex Cochrane. Little drop in tempo at the moment. Town maybe done one or two things that have given Birmingham something to be concerned about. Clara again, just south of the centre circle. 10 red shirts in front of him. Goes square to Cochrane. No route forward. Ipswich Town keeping their shape. Exactly the system we're expecting Town to play. Over the top from Neumann to Kyogo, took it nicely, but then just the touch went towards Dara O'Shea, who cleared it out far side. They're not averse to mixing it up and going long, Birmingham.
Yeah, they do. Kyogo is always searching to go over the back of the defence, and he is worrying our two centre-halves. He really is. The long ball up to him is always pretty good, and he is a threat.
Taylor's done well to win the ball against Gray far side, then Clark wins a throw-in for Ipswich behind left back. Birmingham with a team that eventually put the final nail in Ipswich Town's coffin, 6 years ago now. It was a 1-1 draw at Portman Road that saw Ipswich Town relegated back in April of 2019 to League One. One of many draws in recent years between these two sides. The other result in the last four that was a win for either side was an Ipswich Town victory at Portman Road. The last season these two sides met. Throw far side to Ipswich as the Birmingham subs jog back towards the bench down below us. Davis to take it in front of one of those ever-changing electronic advertising boards in front of the cop stand directly opposite us here at St Andrews. Down goes Kyogo, no free kick given. Back on the edge of the area is Davis. He finds Palmer. Now it's the skipper O'Shea. To Ben Johnson on this right-hand side. Johnson goes long down the line towards Ogbeni. Ogbeni up against Cochrane. Keeps the ball in play, Ogbeni. Headed out by Cochrane. Town have gained a lot of ground. They've got to throw in outside the Birmingham area.
Yeah, he did well, Ogbeni there. He come towards the ball, then spun, wanted it over the top. And as good as the left-back has played on the ball so far, I think he's a little bit suspect at defending.
Johnson with a throw towards Ogbeni. One of his feet was up in the air, Johnson. Eagle-eye work there from Mr. Kitchen, the referee. It's the Birmingham ball on this near side. Just realised that John O'Shea arrived so late that he didn't have a seat in the sort of scouts directors area. Sat just a couple of seats to my right-hand side inside the press box. Here comes the throw-in for Birmingham, still to see a goal. Over the halfway line, O'Shea wins the header. You'd expect him to do that all night against Kyogo. When the ball's on the deck, things might be different, or Kyogo gets in behind, which we've seen. Taylor plays the ball up through the centre circle to Davis. Davis runs it good 10 yards, then gives it to Clark down the left-hand side of the Birmingham area, getting inside the box. Good play from Jack Clark. Then he loses it, then he goes down under pressure from two players. Asay Samuel, one of them. Little drag back from him, trying to take on Clark and get away from. Excellent play from Asay Samuel. Up towards Gray. Gray brought down by Greaves. Free kick to Birmingham. Peck gets it out to the left-hand side. Immediately feeds Anderson. Cochrane's made an overlapping run in front of him. Ogbeni closes down Anderson. Town have everybody behind the ball, which is currently in the centre circle. Really mild night at St Andrews for this first game of the championship season. Here is Tomoki, good ball from Tomoki to Anderson on his chest, left of centre, into the middle of the Ipswich Town area. The ball comes, cleared away as far as Peck. Peck gives it to Tomoki. Tomoki, good ball into the box. Stansfield gets underneath it and puts it over the bar.
Well, that was a great move, probably the best move of the game. Good passing, accurate passing, and they find Jay Stansfield, who is a very dangerous man from that sort of position, and he just fires it over the bar. But the pairing up the top for Birmingham, Kyoto and Stansfield, is proving a real handful for Greaves and O'Shea. And I think down the left-hand side, Cochrane and Anderson are having too much controlled ball, really, for Ogbeni and Johnson.
32 gone. Johnson twists away from Stansfield, gives it back to O'Shea. O'Shea dabs the ball square across his back line to Greaves. Greaves helps it on its way to Davis on the far side. 0-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Davis plays the ball around the corner to Clark. Too easily cut out by Peck. Don't agree with the Brummies on that one. Didn't look too much wrong with it from here. Jack Clark just seemed to be caught in possession. But he's won a free kick for Ipswich Town, so we'll take it. We're going to see a goal before half-time. Here is O'Shea standing, biding his time with the circle. Kieran McKenna more animated of the two managers. Ball forward to Davis. Davis controls it. Davis inside the area, puts it across the face of goal. I think he might have been trying to bend it off the outside of his boot into the far corner. Got it wrong, sadly, because he got himself in a good position. It was a chance. It's gone wide for a Birmingham throw near side.
Yeah, Leif Davis has got himself free down that side quite often in the last 15 minutes and is beginning to sort of carry a threat, and he did exactly the right. That was a lovely effort, it really was. Exactly what was needed, just to lob the ball over the goalkeeper into the far corner. That was what was needed. It just wasn't quite executioned perfectly, you know, but it's Birmingham been the best side, but Town have had the best chances.
Lovely ball from Stansfield. Kyogo's away, wide left, needs support in the centre from Gray. Plays it towards Gray with too much on it, thankfully. It's gone out the far side. Birmingham won't be able to keep it in play. It's going to be a throw to Town at left back. It was a really good break though from Birmingham City. Town getting the throw up towards Hurst, who's had very little to work with. Up against Neumann and Clara. Doesn't get a free kick or a throw-in for his efforts there either. Birmingham get it quickly back in play. 11 minutes to go until half-time. Still looking for the opening goal of the championship season live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Tomoki to Neumann, temporarily at right back, far side. Back it goes to Allsop. How confident is he going to be with his passing? Well, very, very confident. Chipping the ball across his own 6-yard box out to this left-hand side, and Cochrane down the line towards Anderson. Anderson controls the ball back for Peck. He looks around, comes forward, gives it back to Anderson. Anderson brought down by Matthew Seawer. Referee was in a great position, says no free kick. Taylor finds Clark. Clark in the centre of the Birmingham half, loses the ball to Anderson. Clark wanting too much time on the ball on more than one occasion. Back the ball goes to Osei Samuel, infield to Tomoki. Get to misplace a pass, I think, Tomoki in midfield. It's his second season, 38 league starts last year for the Japanese. Like Kyogo, another player who has spent considerable time at Celtic in the past. Now Clara to Allsop. Of course, this is the 4th season in a row that Ipswich Town have started at a different level. Gone are the boring days of endless championship season after championship season. Let's hope it's the same next August as well, when Town are back in the Premier League. Gray, lovely ball and field to Tomoki. Tomoki to Stansfield. Well, that was the intention, but I've cursed him because there's too much on it for Stansfield. It's gone out of play for a throw to Johnson on this near side. Pretty much the game I expected this so far. Oh, this isn't good. Sam Smodics has gone down off the ball. Of course, he had his problems last year, but he's been all right in pre-season. From a couple of the Ipswich Town physios to have a look at him, and it gives Kieran McKenna a chance to speak to his players as they come across.
Well, at the moment we've lost Sam Morsey has been a big loss already tonight, you know, with it's just being able to have that midfield player that can can take up a position where he's readily available from any centre-back, full-back. You know, the goalkeeper, he can receive it off him, he can get turned around, he can then get the play going into a forward sort of direction. We at the moment, we haven't got anybody through the centre of the pitch that can first of all get the ball and then progress the ball. It's all coming down mainly the sides. We've had Johnson and Ogbeni trying to combine. They haven't had a lot of success with it, and we've had Leif Davis with, you know, he's come into the game very quiet for the first 15. He's coming into it, his usual strong running down the left hand side, that's there. The little bit down the right hand side is there, but we are woefully missing right through the centre of the pitch. You know, I think the centre halves are struggling against Kyogo and Stansfield. I think they're the three centre midfield players of Towns are second best against the Birmingham central players. So there's a lot of areas we've got to improve in.
Play back on the wing. Smodix seems to be okay, certainly going to come back on the field. It's a tiny little breather for these players, and a few words of wisdom from the two managers. Launched forward by Clara. Davis is a favourite to get there out of Gray. Makes a mess of his clearance. Davis then nudges Gray. Gray stayed on his feet. Full credit to him. Always did like the look of him when he was a young player coming through Demarai Gray. Another opportunity from back at Birmingham. He's come into a very good side based on what we've seen in these 38 minutes. Here is Tomoki to the right hand side, and Gray, one of four Birmingham players in the side that wasn't here last season. Neumann, another, is in possession of the ball. In a very taxing 38 minutes of football for Ipswich Town. Anderson back towards Cochrane. A few clubs down the years. Keshi Anderson, former Palace man, overly ambitious from Clara. That'll do for Ipswich Town. The throw in they've got behind left back now as we head into the final 7 minutes plus added on at the end of this first half. A little bit of time added on. Not for any goal celebrations though, or not for ones that have counted. Birmingham's one and only was cut short when Kyogo's goal was ruled out for a foul, if you weren't with us earlier on, for a foul on this man Greaves, just winning a header. Greaves' header's controlled by Tomoki. Town then step in and win the ball. Birmingham get it back. Anderson shoots left-footed, but it's a comfortable save for Alex Palmer. It's a shot on target. That's about all you can say of that one from 25 yards plus.
Well, Town have had the best chances in this half, but Birmingham have without doubt been the best side. And the one thing you don't...
Ball given away by Town. Stansfield pulls the trigger and pulls his effort wide. That was a mistake from Ipswich Town, and a real opportunity again for Jay Stansfield to get his first of the season.
Yeah, and that's got to go down as being one of the best chances of the game. I still think Smodix was better than that, but Stansfield has had possession of the ball in that same area twice, and he's hit one shot over the bar and he's dragged that one woefully wide. You expect a little bit more from him.
Yeah, definitely a let off for Ipswich Town, that one. Johnson, quick feet, gets the ball to the right hand side, and Ogbeni back towards Matusiwa. Matusiwa was closed down very effectively by Stansfield. Massive part of Stansfield's game that is. He'll be causing problems for Town at the back. Ipswich have it with Taylor. It's not to go backwards, he's done the right thing. Well played, Taylor, but then he's given it away. Poor pass onto the chest of Asay Samuel, and towards Tomoki on the halfway line. Birmingham getting back on top in his last few moments since that last break. The injury to Smodix, great that he's okay though. He'll do well for Town this season, Sam Smodix. Now Clara. Town, of course, even without injuries, and of course we'd all like to see more signings before the end of the month, they've still been able to put a very good looking 11 at the start of this game. Great ball from right to left. Anderson into the middle for Birmingham. Brilliant defending from someone back there for Town. It seems to be Jacob Greaves, who's taken a knock flying back into his own 6-yard area. Did terrifically well, the former Hull man.
Yeah, that was a beautiful crossfield ball, beautiful control from Anderson, and then instead of going one-to-one with Johnson, which he had every right to do, he sees the run of Gray, Gray has come off the right touchline right the way across, which he looks very happy doing, And Anderson sees the run, and the ball was absolutely beautiful.
Birmingham have finished in 17th place or worse in their last 8 championship seasons. I don't think they're going to finish 17th or worse this time around, based on this performance anyway. It'd be a real surprise, as there's a foul inside the Ipswich Town half of the field on one of the red shirts. Free kick to the visitors here at St Andrews. We've got just 3.5 minutes of this first half to go. Real battle between these two sides. As I said at the start, an awful lot of people have predicted we'll both be in the top 6 come the end of season shake-up. Greaves from the halfway line, ball down the left, miscontrolled by Davis, not very good at all from him. I said earlier on, he can't blame a divot on this wonderful slip surface for that. Just took his eye off the ball. Now throw into Samuel, as hordes of people depart behind him far side for their half-time break. Kieran McKenna sitting down in conversation with Martin Pert, looking at their iPad screen below. Greaves header forward, stomped forward, back by Neumann into the Ipswich Town half, and out of play for a throw to Davis. As out comes Kieran McKenna, visible to us down below. We'll hopefully have an interview with the Ipswich Town manager before off air at 11 o'clock tonight on match night. Taylor back to Greaves, Greaves to Palmer, closed down by Stansfield. He just got it away. Johnson against Anderson. Good battle being between these two near side in this first half. Johnson of Ipswich and Anderson of Birmingham. Johnson with a throw for Ipswich Town, gets it to Taylor, seems to have settled since he got that yellow card. Coming over the halfway line on the right hand side, Kyogo challenges him. The ball reaches Ogbeni, infield to Matthew Seawer, challenged by Stansfield. Here comes Anderson for Birmingham. Matthew Seawer trying to haul him back, takes him down, he'll get a yellow card. Struggling with the pace of the game. It's a tricky one for Matthew Seawer, this one. Jace Stansfield certainly seized upon a weakness there. He thinks he can get at the new player when he's in possession. Stansfield makes a beeline for him, and Matthew Seawer with Taylor is now on a caution.
Yeah, Matthew Seawer, he got hold of the ball, but he was far too slow in what he was going to do with it. He gets dispossessed. The Birmingham player is now making his way. He's heading towards the Town goal. Matasuма is in pursuit. He has a tug of the shirt first of all, and then he brings him down, and quite rightly goes in the book. You know, he's struggling in the midfield. He really is.
He is. It's hard. You've got a feel for the lad. Very short in general in that area of the field, as we all kind of know, really. It's an area which needed surgery in the summer. I think we were saying that before we thought, or even dreamt, that Sam Morsey might depart. Of course, they've also lost Massimo Luongo from the injury from last season. Jens Kayuste is back, though, not available tonight. Hopefully see him on Tuesday and then next Sunday. Free kick to Birmingham. It's a good 35 yards out in a central area. How confident are Gray or Cochrane? It's Gray who hits it. It's on target, but straight into the stomach of Palmer in the centre of his goal. Another very comfortable stop for the Ipswich Town number 1. Final 30 seconds of this first half. Clark trying to dummy. Samuel read it. Gray comes in field with a step over, goes square to Anderson. Anderson back out to the right hand side. Samuel looks up, early cross into the middle, glancing header away by Greaves, controlled by Benny, now at right back, feigns to go forward, closed down by Cochrane, bends it down the line but just stays in. Clara then plays it back to Allsop. Neumann's taking care of Hurst, and Allsop does the right thing by launching it out onto the little roof down below us. 2 minutes of added on time to be played.
Yeah, and it's pretty much been Birmingham's half, there's no question about it. The crowd have been good, but they're waiting anxiously for their team to get some sort of reward. If they do, we'll be in trouble, there's no question about it. We need the half-time. We need to get in the dressing room, settle down, have a chat, talk, and sort out our way of going about the game.
Taylor through a little gap to Greaves. Greaves down the line to Davis, far side, up against Gray and Asay Samuel. It's a real challenge for him on that far side of the field. They seem to have a good thing going on, the two new boys far side. Unlike Cochrane and Anderson, who played together last season and have an understanding down the left, Asay Samuel and Gray seem on similar wavelengths, considering they haven't played competitive football together before. Hurst on the right-hand side, taking on Neumann. Peels for handball, not given. Hurst still has it on the right wing, getting towards the byline. Gives it back to Ogbeni. Can Town get a goal right at the end of this first half? It's Ogbeni up against Cochrane outside the box. He still has it. Gives it back to Johnson. Johnson's first time cross goes into the area. Headed wide by Taylor. He knows that was a chance from the penalty spot as well. You can see from his body language.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there. We had Patience in possession of the ball on the right-hand side. It comes back to Johnson. He whips it in there nicely. Taylor's got a fairly free header there. He's done really well to get into the position, but he really has to do a little bit better. Ball slightly behind him, but a player of his calibre should be able to get his head around the ball and steer it on target.
Yeah, not too dissimilar to the one that he put away at Wolves just before Christmas, but he's done all right, Taylor, since he had that yellow card. He's cracked on, and he knows he's got to help his mate out in that area of the field big time tonight. As that is the end of this first half at St Andrews. The goal kick from Ryan Alsop rounding things off. 0-0. Mick Mills, what have your observations been of what we've seen so far?
Well, I was a bit concerned going into the game, the fact that this team hasn't been together very much, and maybe the combinations haven't worked together enough, but I just feel that we should have done better. Birmingham, we knew would want to start quickly, get the crowd behind them. We allowed them to do that. We weren't able to sort of win the ball back quickly enough, and I think Birmingham pretty much gained in confidence. There would have been one question mark in the Birmingham camp. It would have been, how good is Ipswich, compared with the teams we've been playing last season, and they must have thought in the back of their mind they must be pretty good. This is going to be a tough game. The important thing for Birmingham is they won the first 10 minutes. They were the more impressive side in that first 10 minutes. It sent negative thoughts into Town players. It got positive thoughts going into the Birmingham players' heads. And then as the game sort of started to take shape, it was very obvious that Kyogo, the Birmingham number 9, who is only a very small player, Stansfield behind him, Gray coming off the right touchline to join in with those two, was actually a real threat to the Town defence. And I think Town got away with a lucky one when Greaves didn't really deal with a loose challenge, and Kyogo lofted the ball over the goalkeeper's head. The referee disallowed it, gave a free kick. I think we got lucky. Birmingham continued to keep hold of the possession. They've ended up with 66% possession, Town 34%, and that hasn't been good enough. And when you look at the chance, funny enough, the chances created have been possibly just about in favour of Town. Not much, because Stansfield's had a couple. Kyogo was unlucky to have one disallowed. But when you look over the pitch, the Birmingham left-hand side, Cochrane and Anderson, they are too good for our right-hand side. Stansfield and Kyogo look as if they're going to give our centre-halves a lot of trouble. And when you're looking for where are we actually performing well, it's very, very difficult. Leif Davis has had a bit of freedom down the left, but not an awful lot, and maybe we're clutching at straws when we're saying our best moments have been from set plays. We haven't had the fluency there, and maybe the biggest sort of area that we must improve in is right down the centre of the pitch. Two centre-halves are struggling. Our two holding midfield players are not having their best games. Taylor's the best of them, and in front of that, Schmodix is not getting into the game enough. So right the way through that central area, not good enough. We're doing our best down the right, between Johnson and Ogbeni, but not enough success. Davis down the left-hand side with Clark. Okay. So there's a lot of mediocre performances in the team at the moment. We need the dressing room
Birmingham didn't need the dressing room.
But it is, thankfully, 0-0 here at St Andrews. Ipswich Town away to Birmingham City tonight. Full match commentary of the second half to come.
Yeah, we'll be back with Brenna William McMills in a few minutes' time. We'll look ahead to tomorrow and Sunday in the Championship in just a moment.
3, 2, 1, hit it.
BBC iPlayer is your pit stop for everything Top Gear.
Oh, it's on. It is on.
This bit's a bit tricky, boys.
This is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done.
It's quite a lot of water. It's up to...
Oh, not again. Hammond, you idiot!
Top Gear. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
We're on till 11 o'clock with Match Night on BBC Radio Suffolk. So your thoughts post-match, most welcome. 0800 141 2121 to speak to Mick Mills, who'll be hanging around to take your calls at St Andrews, hopefully after a point or more for Ipswich Town, goalless, as you heard, after the first half of this season's Championship opener. 10 more fixtures in the division tomorrow, including 3 that kick off at 12:30. Among those, John Walk's early tip for the title. Southampton face newly promoted Wrexham at St Mary's. We've talked about Birmingham City looking to become the next side after Ipswich to go back-to-back from League One to the Premier League. Of course, Phil Parkinson's side are chasing a 4th straight promotion. He's been able to recruit well again. Established names Connor Cody and Kiefer Moore could make their debuts for Wrexham tomorrow.
Looking forward to seeing all the new lads play, but equally for me, it's the lads who've been on this journey with us since the start. You know, watching them adapt to another new division. We've got some great stories here of players who joined us in the National League and now find themselves 3 years later in playing in the Championship, and you know that's very rewarding for myself and the rest of the staff to see those players continue to develop, and the new players' job is to help them adapt to the division.
This is Moore into the penalty area. Oh, he scored! Kiefer Moore! Neves takes one touch, then a second, then whips in a delightful cross. Oh, what a header! It's Connor Cody!
2 important signings for us. Obviously, Connor's got a lot of experience at Premiership level, captain teams in the top division, played for his country. Kiefer likewise, and players who know the way around the league. Like I said, those players will only help our players adapt to this division.
Cleworth's cross, not a bad one. 3-0! Sam Smith, that will surely do it. Welcome to the Championship, Wrexham.
Of course, you know the 3 in the row is history. People are going to inevitably mention that, but you know we don't get carried away with ourselves. We never have. It's difficult to predict, but I said that last season in League One, because you know how players who've never played at the level are going to adapt, so how the players we brought in are going to fit in. You know, there's a lot of variables in place. The only thing I'm looking for is that success for Wrexham is by the end of the season we've continued to represent this great football club in the way we have over the last 4 years. And if we do that, I'll be very pleased, and we'll see where that takes us.
Phil Parkinson, the Wrexham manager, speaking ahead of his side's match at Southampton tomorrow from 12:30. Another lunchtime kick-off. We'll see Coventry beaten in the playoffs last season at home to Hull. Frank Lampard hoping his Sky Blues can push for top 6 again.
What we saw at the end of last season was a team that had to be robust from Christmas until March, with injuries that meant, because of the makeup of our squad, we had to change formation. The players took that on great. A slight style change. We got a lot of wins back to back. And then towards the end of the season, I thought we showed a style of play, particularly in some of the home games at the CBS, particularly in both games against Sunderland, where we were the dominant team in game terms without getting a result. So that was strength, but again, you start again. So people will be aware of what we're trying to do a little bit, I guess, in different ways, and so we have to make sure that we're ready to adjust, adapt, move forward, show other strengths that maybe we've shown already, and just keep trying to improve day on day, week on week.
What kind of test do you think Hull will be for you on the opening day? Yeah,
very tough one. I've watched their pre-season games. They're playing well. They're playing with a really good energy and some different ideas, which tends to come with a new manager. They've got good players. There's a lot being made about their transfer situation. It's absolutely pointless to me to focus anywhere near that, because they're a strong team with good players already, and they've added some players to that. So, very tough match.
The Coventry boss, Frank Lampard, for his side season opener. Kickoffs in the Championship tomorrow. Home starter for Norwich against Millwall. The 5:30 kickoff sees last season's beaten playoff finalists Sheffield United open at home to Bristol City. Sunday's game is Leicester City at home to Sheffield Wednesday, who many feel are destined for relegation already, given their current off-field problems, which have featured delayed wages for players and staff, registration and transfer fee embargoes, and stand closures. After manager Danny Rule left, his former assistant Hendrik Pedersen was appointed. Why did he want to take on what looks like being an impossible mission?
A good question. I've been a part of this club now for nearly 2 years, and since I arrived here together with Danny, I have really enjoyed this journey. And there's more levels for me. The daily work with the coaches, with the players, with all the staff, it has been it has been fantastic for me to come in the stadium, to meet people in the city, all the fans. Is he has a fantastic club, and then privately, my wife, my 2 kids love to stay here. My 2 boys love to be at school here. They love to play football here. So there was a lot of reason, and then most important to do something great for Sheffield Wednesday in the future. So I have a lot of reason to say yes.
It's been an incredibly challenging summer for the club, for the people working at the club. When you took the job, did you have a conversation with the owner, and have you had any sort of communication with him at all since taking on this role?
Of course, I had a conversation with him about the job, and after this, we are speaking regularly. So we have a very professional relationship, and I think it's very important to have, so I can make the best possible day for our staff, for our players, to make the best performance in every day's training and prepare for the Sunday game.
Has he given you any indication on whether there is either a sustainable near future for this club and for the people who work for it, or has he given any indication as to whether there may be a sale or something that will enable?
The indication that he do all what he can to solve the problems, and that he would like to do it as quick as possible.
Has anybody been paid for July yet? Or based on the knowledge that you have, is that forthcoming before this game starts or the season starts this weekend?
What I know is young players and some few senior players, but exact who, and I cannot remember who exactly have been paid. Someone has been paid and a lot has not been paid.
Have the club said the players will be paid before this game, at least the players? I suppose the staff are also very important as well.
I have not spoken with anyone who told me that we'll be paid before Sunday.
What's the feeling like in the dressing room? Because the players put a statement out this week. It's clearly affected them, and they're concerned not just for themselves, obviously, but for everybody else at this football club. What is the mood like amongst the group right now?
The last 2 days sessions, we have had a fantastic energy in the group. And I have to say, I have big respect for our players and how they have handled this situation, because it's a tough situation to stay in as a player group, a staff group. And of course, it's a difficult situation. And of course, there's a lot of mornings when they are coming that there's a lot of different energy level for each single person. But again, how they have handled this together as a group and how my staff have supported them. So we have had a lot of good sessions with high quality. It's impressed me a lot. So yes, it's a tough situation, but the players do a great job. And the last 2 days I can feel, yes, there's lots going on around, but I can also feel that it's going more and more in this direction, that there's one thing, and this is to make a top performance Sunday against Leicester.
Sheffield Wednesday manager Henrik Pedersen speaking ahead of Sunday's match away at Leicester. What a situation at Sheffield Wednesday at the moment. It's match night, our first full match commentary of the season on BBC Radio Suffolk. Second half coming up. Town level at Birmingham City.
Reeves underneath there in trouble. Kyogo over the top of Palmer, and it won't count. The flag has gone up. Birmingham fans celebrate. It's a nice finish from Kyogo after Town were in a bit of a muddle at the back. Palmer was stranded and the Japanese lifted the ball looping over the top of him, but the whistle has gone and we're still 0-0, and now the boos start from the home fans through frustration. Birmingham down the left-hand side. Stansfield running at the Ipswich Town defence, comes in field away from Matusiwa. Lovely ball to Kyogo into the side netting. Clara, two big strong lads at the back for Birmingham. Out from Allsop, terrible, straight to Smodics. Smodics hits it wide. Oh, that was a chance for Ipswich Town given to them by Birmingham City from pretty much nowhere. Ball forward to Davis. Davis controls it. Davis inside the area, puts it across the face of goal. I think he might have been trying to bend it off the outside of his boot into the far corner. Got it wrong, sadly, because he got himself in a good position. It was a chance. It's gone wide for a Birmingham throw near side. Ball given away by Town. Stansfield. Stansfield pulls the trigger and pulls his effort wide. That was a mistake from Ipswich Town, and a real opportunity again for Jay Stansfield to get his first of the season. Can Town get a goal right at the end of this first half? It's Benny up against Cochrane outside the box. He still has it. Gives it back to Johnson. Johnson's first time cross goes into the area. Headed wide by Taylor. He knows that was a chance from the penalty spot as well. You can see from his body language.
Good game, isn't it? And a real tough test for Town on the opening night of the Championship season. Let's go back to St Andrews now on BBC Radio Suffolk. Rejoin our commentary team, Mick Mills alongside Brenna Woolley.
The two teams are out, so too a fair number of stewards and substitutes. So kick-off at the start of the second half isn't quite imminent. Just having a quick squint around, it does look like the same 20 outfield players out there. Sam Smodics was a bit of a concern for Town at one stage, but soldiered on. Chirag Benny obviously is not going to play 90 minutes, but he's out there to play in the 46th minute of this game. Yeah, no half-time changes by the looks of things. So Palmer in the goal off to our right for Ipswich Town is back for Johnson, O'Shea the captain, Greaves and Davis. And that's Matusiwa alongside Taylor in midfield, both on a yellow card incidentally. The attacking three, Benny, Smodics and Clark in behind George Hurst. On the bench, Walton, Chaplin, Wolfenden, Alhamady, Broadhead, Kipre, Young, Humphreys and Barbrook, all likely to start on Tuesday, one would have thought. Allsop in all green as the Birmingham keeper off to our left. His teammates are in all blue. Back for Asay Samuel on a yellow, Neumann, Clara the captain and Cochrane. Then a two of Tomoki and Peck, a three of Gray, Stansfield and Anderson. Then it's Kyogo up top. On the bench, Beadle, Laird, Bielik, Cashin, Doyle, Leonard, Gardner-Hickman, Williamson and Dykes. Throw in on this near side for Birmingham. They're playing from left to right. They're right back with a hop, skip and a jump. There's Asay Samuel. He takes the throw in. Spooned forward off the left instep of O'Shea. Then Kyogo challenges Greaves. Greaves has been winded. It's a throw in for Ipswich Town, which Davis is going to be taken. Awkward customer. Kyogo sportingly apologises to Jacob Greaves. Probably the shortest player on the field, Kyogo, but very lively and has asked questions of Town in that goalless first half. Asay Samuel heads the ball backwards, prevents it from going out, and then is challenged by an Ipswich Town player, Hurst. Asay Samuel stayed down. Referee's blown his whistle. It's a Birmingham ball at the back for the foul by Hurst. As a few people just settle back into their seats. 12 years since Ipswich Town last lost the opening game of an EFL season. And as Allsop gets ready to take this goal kick, we'd love the win, but all in all, it would be a very good point if Ipswich Town were to make an unbeaten start to the season. We'll beat an awful lot here this season based on what we've seen in the first 45 minutes. Here is Cock. Side gives it to Anderson. Straight down early in the second half. Anderson, right-footed low ball in Paul, dealt with by Matusiwa. Out far side it goes for a throw. It's going to be interesting to see what develops this next 43 minutes, Mick Mills.
Yeah, it will be. You know, it's just, you know, I always, at this stage, when they just come out of the dressing room, I'm always interested.
Town maybe in trouble. Tomoki gets underneath that. Town were at 6s and 7s at the back. Tomoki flew in towards the penalty spot, slightly to the right of it, off to our right-hand side, and butchered it high over Palmer's bar, much to our relief.
Yeah, you just wonder if there's going to be a slight change. You know, the manager might have just said, look, we're going to have to do this or have to do that, and you look for the change coming, you know, but it's too early at the moment to see if there is going to be one. But you know, as I said at half-time, it's through the middle of the pitch we've got to improve.
Passing it around at the back, being closed down by Birmingham's press, cleared away by Davis, not to Hurst. Clara gets on it in a midfield area. Briefly the captain, Tomoki, down the right hand side to Gray, the number 10, back to Tomoki, just stayed on side, wide left outside the Ipswich area, pulls it back to Osei Samuel. On the right it's Gray, it's all happening on us near side, the Birmingham right. Nice little turn from Gray, good feet to Moki, edge of the box, in comes his cross, headed away and out behind by Greaves. It's Birmingham's first corner kick of the night, unbelievably.
Yeah, a super play down the right-hand side from Birmingham, and a lovely little triangle, and in the end, the one man in the triangle who was in the best position to put the cross in, received the ball, and the cross was absolutely perfect. Goalkeeper couldn't take it, and luckily enough for Town, Greaves was there in the key position to head away for a corner.
Birmingham have grown in confidence against this side that was in the Premier League last season, understandably believing they're the better team tonight. They were in that first half, but so far nothing to show for it in terms of a first goal of the night, possibly now from this corner, and it comes from Cochrane. It's headed away by Greaves, shot into the ground, pulled wide by Peck. The number 8 was unable to set himself fully to let off the Town goal kick. Palmer.
Yeah, so far Birmingham have been quite impressive. The only thing they haven't been very impressive on is actually being sort of clinical with their finishing, you know, getting shots and efforts on target. They've been really sort of, you know, that one there, for instance, you know, that should hit the target, and it should mean that one of the Town players, either a defender's got to put his body in the way or the goalkeeper's got to make a save, but they're missing the target.
Nice control from Hurst, back to halfway, and Taylor's the left hand side, and Davis unlucky. Unfortunate for Town, couldn't get there. Davis, nice idea, throw it to Birmingham at right back. Our next full match commentary is of Town in League Cup action. That starts on Tuesday night. First ever visit to Bromley in round 1 of the Carabao Cup. Town's first home game of the season is in 9 days' time. Sunday lunchtime when Southampton come to Portman Road next weekend, before the first of a few long old jaunts this season. Town are at Preston 2 weeks tomorrow. Almost given away by Birmingham, but the referee's blown his whistle. It's a free kick. And then rounding off the first month in terms of league action, Derby County, Caden Jackson and co. at Portman Road. In a few weeks' time there'll be another League Cup game before the end of August if Town can win on Tuesday, when as usual we're expecting to see a totally different Ipswich Town team. Ball down the left hand side for Birmingham. Anderson trying to get the better of Johnson. Still a good battle between those two. Johnson looks to have won it on this occasion. Well done, Ben Johnson. Left footed, he hits it up towards Hurst. Hurst wrestling with Clara. Ball goes through to Neumann. Neumann, the spare man, heads it to Cochrane. Cochrane down the line to Peck and field to Clara. Birmingham still the better side, playing like a team. Back it goes to Alsop. Alsop again wobbly with his footwork. This time it didn't result in an attempt on goal for Ipswich Town, which it did in the first half. It's just a throw-in on the far side.
I think the big surprise for me, to be honest, from the first half was the amount of possession Birmingham had. I said coming up that I would guarantee Town would have at least 50% of the possession, but they haven't got anywhere near it.
Second best in this game, Ipswich Town, but it is still 0-0. On the right-hand side, Johnson, a chance to maybe create an opportunity for Ipswich. His attempted cross is closed down, belted away by Cochrane. Matasiwa lunging, diving towards the ball, heads it out far side for a throw-in to Birmingham City, which Cochrane is going to be taking. Of course, still no Chuba Akpom for either of these two clubs, said to be fighting over the Ajax striker early on in the week. Now it looked almost certain that he'd turn up at Ipswich Town and sign, having apparently had a medical at Ipswich in the last few days. A bit of a mystery, that one. Has been linked with a club in Turkey today, the former Middlesbrough man. I don't know why that's not quite happened. Taylor up to Hurst, robbed though by Tomoki. Here is Gray for Birmingham, still goalless in this first game of the championship season under the lights at St Andrews. Tomoki 30 yards out, back to the right, nice play. Osei Samuel, in comes his cross, headed down, cleared away, facing his own goal, hooked up in the air and away by Smodics. Now Matusiwa up to Hurst. Back it goes to Smodics. Smodics stumps it down the middle, looking for Clark. Deer was right. Unlucky for Ipswich Town, trying to hit Birmingham on the break. Osei Samuel back towards Allsop. Allsop clears back to Osei Samuel, who brings it down. Nudged to the floor by Hurst, wins a free kick off the big target man. He himself, Osei Samuel, plays it back to Allsop in his second season from Hull, played alongside Jacob Greaves in the Championship a couple of years ago. Allsop. Head from Johnson, almost won back by Stansfield. Birmingham get it back in midfield. Little ball forward from Tomoki, lovely turn from Kyogo. Kyogo shoots against Greaves. And it goes far side. He's so razor sharp. Kyogo is a striker.
Well, he's razor sharp and he'll try and shoot from anywhere.
Birmingham on the far side there, left. Cochrane, early ball into Ipswich area. Volleyed away square by Greaves, had to improvise, wasn't expecting the delivery to come in so quickly. Anderson gets it back to Cochrane. Tomoki. What a point this would be for Ipswich Town. Nowhere near as good as Birmingham in this game. The Town fans, though, getting behind their side. The Birmingham fans try to respond in kind. Clara to Cochrane. Down the line, Peck. Nice play from Birmingham. Stansfield trying to get Anderson in behind. Johnson defended that situation well. Tomoki's header goes forward into the Ipswich area, nodded away by Greaves. Brought down by Smodics. Smodics trying to get Clark away. Osei Samuel to Peck. Back it goes to Neumann. Crowd applaud. Maybe it's going to be a night for Ali Al-Hamadi from the bench for Ipswich Town. Over the top from Clara, all the way back to Palmer. They've also got Chaplin, an attacking player on the bench. Broadhead, that'll be some story. And of course, Cameron Humphreys, who had a terrific season at Wickham last year. He also got amongst the goals on occasions at Adams Park. Greaves back to Palmer. Palmer side puts it to halfway. 10 minutes gone since half-time. Maybe a chance for Birmingham. Kyogo in on goal, lifted over the top of Palmer. It's the post. Stansfield! Birmingham have lift-off in the Championship, and it has been coming by a mile. The better side in this game. They take the lead 10 minutes into the second half. Jay Stansfield, coveted by Ipswich Town in so many transfer windows in the past, makes it Birmingham 1, Ipswich Town 0.
Well, that's exactly what we don't want, because Birmingham were the best side in the first half. They started the second half the better side, but they weren't actually sort of looking as if they might score. Their shooting was a little bit erratic, but then all of a sudden they managed to get the first one now, and this is going to be a very, very difficult contest.
Sadly, justice has been done. They've been so far the better team right from the outset in this game. Let's see how Ipswich Town respond in this game. Town went into a huddle. It was noticeable straight after that goal went in. Now there's no Sam Morsey to drag them up by their bootstraps. Let's see how they react. There are, though, more than enough big characters out there, more than enough experienced players as well. We're not looking at a team of green 18, 19, 20-year-olds. O'Shea, the captain, he's one of them, belts it long towards Hurst. There is Osei Samuel against Davis, winning that physical challenge. Osei Samuel up towards the halfway line, and Greaves. Missed a couple of chances in the first half, Stansfield, that he should have put away, but was never going to miss that one. Gilt-edged opportunity, and the player who scored 23 goals in total last season is up and running back in the Championship, the former Fulham man, now being dragged away for a little word with the referee. A bit of a spiky character, I do like him a lot as a player, Stansfield. He actually played in the game at Portman Road when Ipswich Town were promoted from League One. He was in that Exeter side on loan from Fulham joined Birmingham on loan initially, and then cost them 15 million in League One last summer, but it's been money very well spent. Here is Jacob Greaves. He's known he's in a game tonight. To Taylor, back to Greaves. Stansfield holds on to Greaves. Birmingham win the ball through to Moki. Taylor goes to ground, and he had to time that well on a yellow. Did well, Jack Taylor. Knocked long by O'Shea to the left-hand side. Davis up against Osei Samuel. Osei Samuel trying to shield it out behind it. Won't go. It's not got enough pace on it, the ball. Gives it to Neumann. Neumann clears towards Greaves. Greaves then to O'Shea. Of course, still lots of time. We haven't even reached the hour mark for Ipswich Town to get back into this game.
Yeah, there's lots of time, but to be perfectly honest, just before Birmingham scored their goal, I was for the first time looking at the sub list to see about a change, because I wasn't seeing anything from Town to give me any sort of glimmer of hope.
Yeah, there really hasn't been. O'Shea. 13 minutes gone in the second half. Smodics on the right wing. In comes his cross towards Davis. Maybe a chance for Hurst. Nope. Didn't fall his way. Birmingham clear the line. So as far as Johnson. Johnson knocks the ball back into the box. Back to goal. Hurst tries to turn Clara. Cleared away by Birmingham. Good response this from Ipswich Town though. 2 going behind.
Yeah, that was good. That was a terrific run from Leif Davis. And
O'Shea up towards Hurst. Lovely touch from Hurst to Smodics. Back to Hurst. Back to Smodics. No, great interception from the Birmingham player, the captain Clara. What a goal that would have been for Ipswich Town. The intricate work between Hurst and Smodics was exceptional, but credit the big man at the back for Birmingham getting in the way. Town have got Al-Hamidi, Chaplin, Humphreys all out. Broadhead as well.
Yeah, when I look at the list, Brenner, I'm thinking Nathan Broadhead and Connor Chaplin, just to give it some quality, you know, and some players that play other players. They know their games, they know what they can do, they know what they want, they know how they want to receive the ball, and they carry a goal threat.
Wouldn't be adverse to Humphreys either, getting a decent chunk in this game. Scoring first at home last season, Birmingham did it 17 times and won 16 of those games. The other one was a draw. No team fought back to beat them, obviously. Unbeaten here in the whole of last season. Kyogo and Greaves on a little clash, and Greaves not accepting the apology from Kyogo. Free kick at the back to the Ipswich Town defender. Of course, in the team of the season in the Championship, Jacob Greaves 2 years ago. Plays it to O'Shea. As we approach the hour mark on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. The buoyant and jubilant St Andrews. Here is Azor Matusiwa to Ogbeni. Just has to be easing himself back into action. Ogbeni, yet to see that searing pace from him, but totally understandable. It's been a long road back for him from that terrible injury at Brentford. O'Shea to Johnson. Johnson took Benny on the far side. Town have the ball on their right. Infield to Matusiwa. Here come the Reds of Ipswich Town. Smodics, this is a good move. He's drifted out to the right-hand side a few times of late. Smodics, he's caught late far side. Free kick to Ipswich. The referee has halted play as well. And there's players involved on the far side of the field. Another little bust up. Difficult to see who's involved. Johnson and Ogbeni amongst the players. The referee wants a word. Ogbeni is really annoyed. Kyogo sort of got his arms around him. Let's see what the referee's going to do about this. He's on to word with Alex Cochrane, obviously the aggressor that got Ogbeni rather hot under the collar. Birmingham lead 1-0. If you're just rejoining us or joining us for the first time tonight on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport, every kick of every Ipswich Town game this season. You can have your say afterwards. Have a chat to Graham and Mick. 0800 141 2121 is the phone number. Text at any point, 81333. Send those messages SFK or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Again, proceed your message with SFK, and you can get in touch with me ahead of Monday's Blue Hour show on BBC Radio Suffolk between 6 and 7 every Monday night, discussing all matters Ipswich Town, men and women, when their season starts as well. That's Brenner at bbc.co.uk. His email is the best way to get in touch any day of the week. BRENNER at bbc.co.uk. Finally, this free kick can be taken far side. It's Ben Johnson, the former West Ham man, on it. Town attacking the goal off to our left. Forward of the red shirts of Ipswich, and it comes. O'Shea goes down against his marker. It's headed out by a Birmingham defender. Corner kick to Ipswich, the first of the second half.
Well, I can't blame the free kick taker there. I think he's put the ball in exactly the position that you should be sort of attacking. You know, it's a lovely curled ball. It's into the near post space. That's for players. You know, the man on the ball puts the ball in there. It's for the players who are lining up to search for it and get on the end of it. And we had nobody near that ball.
Chance for Ipswich Town to draw level, perhaps. Leif Davis on this corner kick at St Andrews, under the floodlights. First day of the championship season. Many men in red forward for Town. In it comes, headed on by O'Shea, but over the bar. Try to just get that flick on at the near post. Still Town have Chapman, Ogbenny and now Broadhead out on this near touchline.
Again, the ball in is a good ball. It's sort of found an empty area. O'Shea's got there. He's just got to let it just slide, over on his head. Just a slight touch of the ball, but help it on. Just divert it slightly, not do what he did, help it over the crossbar, but just let it skim off his head and let somebody else do the attacking of the ball. Get the second ball there. Good ball in. Poor header.
Chris Davies having a good long chat to Tomoki, the midfielder, whilst we had that little break and play. Allsop's kick is a miscue. It's gone out of play for a throw to Leif Davis on this near side. Still 1-0. Town still in with a chance of getting something from this game. Davis waits. Ball above his head. Of course, he was a doubt for this game. Good to see that he's available. Davis throws the ball towards Matthew Siwa. Can't get on it though. The Dutchman in the centre of the park. It's Anderson. Matthew Siwa tracks him all the way. Anderson checks back though, gives it to Peck, who finds Tomoki. Now Asay Samuel as Jack Clark slips. No fault of his own really. Hasn't been involved much at all. Jack Clark. Allsop to the left-hand side of his area, and Clara. Now the left back Cochrane down the far side. He plays the ball to Anderson. Anderson trying to get the better of Johnson, goes down lightly. Wins the free kick. Eventually the referee decides. We'll have Kieran McKenna's thoughts post-match on BBC Radio Suffolk. Hopefully those of an Ipswich Town player as well. See what they made of this first result of 46 in the Championship this season. Birmingham on top at the moment. Town, of course, ended last season, taken 7 points from the last 57 available. Not used to winning matches, Ipswich, unlike Birmingham. Broadhead is coming on for Ipswich Town. And when we see him now, we can't help but wonder, will this be his last appearance for Ipswich? So too Ashley Young is getting stripped for his debut. Connor Chaplin's coming on as well, so it's at least a triple change for Ipswich, and that's needed, McMills. Something had to change.
Yes, I think so. I was looking at players who can keep the ball, pass the ball, get a bit of possession going, and my three across the attacking supporting players to Hurst, would be Clark on the right, Connor Chaplin in the centre, and Broadhead on the left-hand side. They can all receive nicely, they can all work the ball nicely, and they can all score a goal or two. So, that's what I think we need. We need players that can keep it and work the ball up the pitch.
Could be those three that are all replaced. It could be Young, Chaplin, and I guess Broadhead. It'll be interesting to see. We've got a fair idea where Broadhead and Chaplin are going to play, obviously, but Ashley Young will be interesting to see where he makes his debut. Tomoki's desperate to come back on the field after a brief spell off of it. Here he comes, back up to 11 versus 11 as O'Shea takes the ball into the centre circle. Birmingham also considering changes, I think. A little bit of activity off their bench, although less need, of course, for Chris Davis to take it, given the scoreline and his team's performance. Ipswich in the centre with Taylor. Nice bit of one-touch stuff, worked them out of it. Tricky little position far side. Dara O'Shea to halfway, along the floor to Smollett's definitely drifting off to the right in this second half, giving it to Ogbenny. Ogbenny comes in field, unable to get the ball out from under his feet, really, Ogbenny. back to Matusiwa. Stansfield's all over him again. Birmingham trying to get the ball back off Town. Decent from Town. Matusiwa finds Clark. Clark comes in field, 30 yards out. Still Clark has it to the left-hand side. Davis outside the Birmingham area. Infield to Taylor, just edge of the box. So 18 yards from the goal line, trying to find room for a shot or a cross. Can't get it. Under pressure from the blue shirts. Davis to Clark. Clark gets into the area. Say Samuel goes with him. Gets in the way with the ball. Gives it back to Clark. Though Clark goes to the dead ball line. And it's out behind, off of Clark last for a goal kick to Birmingham. Here comes the triple change for Ipswich Town. Chaplin coming on, Broadhead coming on, and a debut for 40-year-old Ashley Young.
Interesting.
First change for Town, Johnson has gone off, so Young will go right back. That answers that question. Other changes for Ipswich. Ogbenny going off, as we expected he would at some point. And Smodix is the other one. So Clark will go to the right-hand side. Former Aston Villa player, Ashley Young, getting a warm reception from the Birmingham crowd. So it'll be that three you talked about, Mick. Clark on the right, Chaplin in the middle, and Broadhead down the left.
Yeah, and funny enough, since Birmingham scored their goal, they've sat off a little bit and they've allowed Town to have a bit of possession. Well, if they continue to do that, we now have got players on the pitch that will thrive on possession. Even Ashley Young, the right fullback, he'll thrive if he gets a lot of ball passes in the attacking half. He'll do some good, he'll do some damage.
Ball given away by Birmingham at the back. Hurst can't make more of it. Cleared away by Cochrane. Cochrane's clearance is headed forward by Matusiwa. Trying to get on the ball and managing it is Taylor up against Tomoki. Taylor's done very well. Now Matusiwa to the right-hand side, Clark, where he's been playing pre-season a lot. Clark in field, wasted straight to Peck. Chaplin wins it back well for Ipswich. There is Young, still being booed by the home crowd. Now Matusiwa. Matusiwa once again for Ipswich. Back it goes to O'Shea. Such a tricky game for Azo Matusiwa to come into. Here he is, he's done well. Up to Chaplin, nice control. Taylor dabs it back to the right-hand side. Young's first time cross into the area towards Hurst. And it goes back towards Allsop. Immediately the substitutes make an impact.
Yeah, immediately the football's better. It's tidier, it's together. We're able to work the ball from the halfway line to sort of positions where you can get a cross or a shot in. Yeah, that was a good sort of sign that might be a couple of nice substitutions. But we'll have to wait and see. I do believe Birmingham have a little bit stupidly sat off and awarding Town a little bit of possession, but I think that's playing in Town's hands.
Birmingham lead 1-0. It was Stansfield with the goal. After 55 minutes, ball goes back to Allsop. A little bit of time to control it. It was an awkward one, but there's no red shirt of Ipswich too close to him. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Greaves wins that header to Taylor. Yeah, certainly can't rule Ipswich Town out of this one. Second best and behind, but Birmingham certainly got into the shell a little bit. Town have got players out there who can turn this around. Taylor's caught late by Gray. Seem to feel that one. Kyogo trying to help the former Peter Braman back up to his feet. Free kick at the back, which Greaves takes for Town. Remember, give us a call afterwards, 0800 141 2121. Your thoughts always very welcome. Text 81333, start those SFKs. Matusiwa is caught late. Ashley Young's annoyed about that challenge from Peck, which gets him a yellow card in midfield for Birmingham. Matusiwa is still down. And it's a free kick which Young is going to be taking. Will be a real threat for Ipswich Town from set pieces. This one's only on the halfway line, but he's already got an assist for Jacob Greaves. I think it was in pre-season against Charlton. Ashley Young, Ipswich Town's oldest ever signing. Young to the right-hand side, and Chaplin leaves the ball for Clark. It's all happening on the far side, the Ipswich right at the moment. The ball goes back there from O'Shea to Chaplin. Infield to Matusiwa. Chaplin once again. Town much better at the moment. Helped on by Taylor to Greaves. Birmingham fans will start to get a bit edgy. Town can get themselves on top. Here is Davis. Seeing a lot more of the ball at the moment, Ipswich. Infield to Matasiwa. Robbed over by Stansfield. Stansfield turns away from him. Matasiwa goes in there. Just needs to remember he's on that first half yellow. The Dutchman grabbed at his shirt in amongst all of that before eventually bringing down Stansfield. Only a free kick for Birmingham, though.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He shouldn't have lost possession of that ball. That was a nice little bit of possession. It goes to him, and he sort of was a bit loose with his control and has to give a free kick away.
Kyogo trying to get in behind Greaves. He's managed to do it. He's wide on the right-hand side. He's gone down. Kyogo, he's back up. He's won a free kick. We'll have easier games than this season, Jacob Greaves, that's for certain, as Kyogo waves his hands in the air, trying to lift the crowd off to our right. Tommy Doyle about to come on for Birmingham, good player.
Jacob Greaves should never have got on the wrong side of Kyogo there. He really shouldn't. He's just thrown him, completely thrown him.
Bringing on another player, possibly Ethan Laird, I think I maybe got a glance of down below, former Manchester United player. It's Cochrane over this free kick for Birmingham. Outside the Ipswich Town penalty area, down the right of it. So it'll be an in-swinger from the left boot of Cochrane. He's also got the option of the pull back towards Gray or Peck. That might be the ball that he considers. Anyway, he's got a few blue shirts lined up on the edge of Palmer's 6-yard area as well. 1-0 Birmingham. Cochrane knocks it towards the far post. It's wasted, but towards the far corner, but didn't dip in time.
Yeah, it was a poor free kick in the end. They had 6 players close to our 6-yard box. The majority of them were on the near side of that 6-yard box, and he should really have aimed the ball at them and just hoped for a flick header, but he just hit the ball far too hard and high and sort of missed everybody.
16 and a half minutes to go. Still 1-0 Birmingham, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Through to Town. Broadhead thought about taking it. Left it to Leif Davis. Matasiwa wants it. Davis has got the ball above his head. Throws it up towards Hurst instead. Hurst battling with Neumann. Tough night against those 2 big centre-halves for Hurst. Here is Asay Samuel. Pulled down by Broadhead. Free kick to Birmingham. Wolfenden has joined Al-Hamadi and Kipre out for a run. Goal side wide right is Gray. Gray gets the ball into the Ipswich area. Dealt with by O'Shea. Don't want to take any chances that Palmer might not get there. Here is Davis. Davis up against Kyogo. Held back, Davis. Free kick to Ipswich. That left back, and maybe finally Birmingham can make their changes.
Yeah, we've had a frantic 2 or 3 minutes, a couple of set plays, and that possession play of Town has just sort of evaporated a little bit. We've got to get it going again, because that's when we were playing our best stuff.
O'Shea with a crossfield diagonal to Leif Davis. It's a good ball. Ipswich Town on the attack. Davis doesn't manage to keep the ball and play it out for a Birmingham throw. These 2 teams, one of them last season got their biggest ever points tally against another side who had their lowest ever points tally. In fact, in all 4 divisions of the football pyramid, the top 4, Premier League down to League 2, only Southampton have got fewer points since the turn of the year than Ipswich Town. The terrible old run of results that Town went down with in the Premier League. I don't need me to remind you, the next Sunday they'll be looking for their first home win since the end of last year. When Southampton come to visit, that will be live on your radio on BBC Radio Suffolk next Sunday lunchtime. Before that, we're on air on Tuesday night for a match night away to Bromley in the League Cup. Peck, lovely play, gets away from Chaplin, and then in goes Taylor on Stansfield. It's a free kick. Nothing more than that, thankfully. I was a little bit concerned because of Taylor being on a yellow. Here comes the changes for Birmingham. Kyogo is going off to be replaced by Doyle, who will go into the number 10, and Stansfield will be the striker up top. Very lively, very sharp, Kyogo. They'll like him here. I think they'll like him even more as the season progresses based on this performance. Doyle, who looked a very good signing, ex-Man City boy on loan from Wolves. Well, I've had him at Portman Road this summer. England under-21 internationals, done the business at this level in the past, promoted with Sheffield United while on loan. Tommy Doyle, he'd be a good player for Birmingham. That's the only change so far made by the team that lead this game 1-0. 13 minutes to go. Allsop might have to be reliant on a mistake from him for an equaliser, perhaps. Headed back by Anderson, out of play. Doyle can't get involved immediately. As we see a replay of the Birmingham fans celebrating the only goal so far after 55 minutes. Sell out tonight at St Andrews. Town launch it long through Young. It's out of play though, far side throw in. But Kieran McKenna's considering another change. He's got that look in his eye as he walked back towards the bench and clapped his hands feverishly. Yeah, Ali Al-Hamadi is coming on. Like George Hurst, he's been amongst the goals in the last few weeks, the Iraqi. Let's see what he can do. Ended last season in the Championship with Stoke City. Now with his shaved head, the number 16. And has looked good in recent weeks. Through a far side for Birmingham City. Kieran McKenna's given plenty of instruction anyway. Headed away by Young of Ipswich, picked up by Peck. Peck's header goes into the area, cleared away by Town, then Davis on the stretch, kicks it up but not too far away. It's going to curl out near side. Asay Samuel will get a throw in for Birmingham City. Change for Town is Clark is going off for Al-Hamadi to come on. Quiet game, Jack Clark. Al-Hamadi's having a word with George Hurst. Al-Hamadi gets the "Who are you" chant from the home crowd. He's gone across that right-hand side, Al-Hamadi, so he's not gone up front with Hurst just yet.
It's an unusual substitution for Kieran McKenna to make because it's lost his sort of balance on his team.
Cleared away by Greaves. Al-Hamadi back helping out defensively. Anderson with the header for Birmingham. Town a little bit ragged. Young on the ball, still being booed by the home crowd. Back to Dara O'Shea, who we heard from earlier on match night. There is Al-Hamadi getting involved for the first time. Infield to Chaplin, tries to get it back to Ali Al-Hamadi, bustling his way over the top of a player, Cochrane far side, then into the back of another. You know when he's on the field, Al-Hamadi. Birmingham players well aware that he's been introduced, all action.
Well, he's drifted out over on the right-hand side, but I don't think he's going to be playing there all the time. He'll try to link up with George Hurst, so he'll come into a more central position. My worry is then that leaves Ashley Young pretty much a lonely man down the right-hand side.
Free kick to Birmingham. Cochrane will take it. Onto the chest though of O'Shea. Town going to find a way back into this game. Kieran McKenna looks frustrated and dejected down there, spins away, grimaces as he faces the bench down below, then writes a few notes. He'll know his side's been second best tonight, but still are in with a chance of taking something. Cochrane throws the ball into the Ipswich area. In the way of it is Taylor. He's done all right tonight, Taylor. Forward from Young. There's Al-Hamadi back helping out in front of Taylor. Young's given it away straight to Gray of Birmingham, wide left outside the Ipswich area. Still has it, Damari Gray. Remember, no Amari Hutchinson or Jens Kayusto tonight for different reasons, of course. I'll have a chat with Kieran McKenna post-match and ask if there's any further forward with Amari Hutchinson. Throw for Birmingham into the Ipswich Town area it goes. Stansfield, the match winner at the moment, with a challenge as he went to ground. Young back into the area to O'Shea, clears away from the flying frame of Gray. Shot from a distance from Tomoki. That was the distance over the bar.
No threat from that sort of distance. You know, he's not renowned for, strong shooting, and you don't score many from that distance. We've just lost possession again. Why all of a sudden Birmingham have gained possession of the ball territorially? They've got the game pushed right back into the Town's defensive half, and we just can't get that movement going, that fluency going. And we had a really nice spell just before the subs came on, just after the subs had come on, and now it's sort of disappeared again, and it's strange. You know, I don't understand why things like that happen in football. You know, it's not because Birmingham all of a sudden are that good that they can sort of say, right, we're now going to dominate the ball. They're not that good, you know. For some reason, we sat off the play again.
Double change for Birmingham. Stansfield's picked up a slight knock. He's hobbling off at the moment. It's good news as far as Town are concerned, although Dykes coming on has got a threat in him as well. Former QPR player, Scotland international, is Lyndon Dykes. And the other alteration is Ethan Laird is coming on as well for Birmingham City, replacing Demarai Gray. Laird's a fullback, really. So a slightly defensive move from Chris Davis. And we have, 7.5 minutes to go. Ipswich Town heading towards yet another defeat in 2025. Again, just a reminder, usual numbers on BBC Radio Suffolk if you want to have a chat to Graham and Mick afterwards. 0800 141 2121. Text 81333. Send us messages SFK. Lyndon Dykes goes straight into Jacob Greaves. Free kick, Ipswich at left back. Greaves to Palmer. Palmer across the front of his penalty area. Finds O'Shea, who's being closed down by Doyle. Ipswich get it to Taylor. Taylor around the corner to Chaplin. He finds Broadhead. Nice play this from Ipswich. Broadhead slightly behind Al-Hamadi on the right wing. Al-Hamadi keeps it in though. To Chaplin. Chaplin with a little touch to Young. Young still has it. Ball down the line to Al-Hamadi. Red stringing a few passes together. And then Anderson, as he held back by Al-Hamadi, went down off the ball. Nothing doing, says the referee. Play continues. Ipswich have the ball with Jacob Greaves bursting to get forward. Held up by his marker, Dykes. Now with Nathan Broadhead. Broadhead floats the ball out to the right-hand side, looking for Al-Hamadi. Chested down, almost given away by the Birmingham player Anderson. In flies Cochrane behind him, and out goes the ball as Cameron Humphreys comes on for Ipswich Town. He will be replacing Azor Matusiwa. See what Humphreys can do. It was to throw it on the far side. Interesting pronunciation from PA of Azor Matusiwa. He'll be happy with Cameron Humphreys, who's just come on. He had an excellent season at Wycombe. Let's see what he can do back in the Championship. Humphreys for Ipswich. Played so little football for Ipswich Town the last season and a half. More than that, really. But we know what a talent he is. Here is Humphreys, the number 30. Goes back to Greaves. In the centre circle, O'Shea. Approaching the final 5 minutes. Birmingham still lead 1-0. Young. Disguised ball up to Broadhead in the central area. Out to the right-hand side, Al-Hamadi. Plays in the middle. Chaplin's in there. Hurst. Davis just outside the box. Broadhead. And the ball comes towards Hurst. Hurst can't get under his header. And it's over the roof of Allsop's net off to our left.
Just trying to sort of look. I think Humphreys now has gone back to that central midfield area. It worried me that he was going to play left back and Leif Davis was going to go forward and Broadhead was going to come inside, you know, and I'm thinking, no, you're sort of, you know, playing too many players out of position. I'm surprised that Al-Hamadi has come on and has gone to really what is a right side attacker down the touchline. You know, he's not really playing he's in central position now, but it's only for this goal kick. He's playing out on the touchline. A little bit baffling, that one.
Allsop clears for Birmingham. 4 minutes plus added on time away from a terrific win for them against the bookies' favourites to win the Championship this season. What a start to their first season back at this level that would be. You can't say they won't deserve it if indeed they get that win. Greaves heads it away from Dykes. In goes Doyle. Good work for him to win it. Dykes brings it down looking for Doyle. Taylor gets the better of him. Back it goes to O'Shea. O'Shea up towards Al-Hamadi. Al-Hamadi skips away from the challenge of Cochrane. Then he almost gets away from Anderson. Ball's out of play for a throw far side. It was bright from Al-Hamadi. looking to stake a claim really for more league minutes. Be surprised if we don't see him start on Tuesday. Full match commentary of the Bromley game on BBC Radio Suffolk. Greaves to Broadhead, centrally. Broadhead up to Hurst, back to Chaplin, into the air to Al-Hamidi. Good play this from Town. Al-Hamidi still has it, lost his feet, back up there now and then gives it away. Oh, goodness me, he got it in a really good position. Town win the ball back through Young. That was lovely football from Town initially. Taylor wastes his cross. What a shame Ali Al-Hamidi couldn't make more of that situation, because it was brilliant play from Town.
Yeah, it's good play, you know, but we haven't had enough of it really, but that was pretty good. You know, it's interesting that's, you know, what's going on down in front of us. You're trying this left side of ours at the moment. When we're in play, Humphreys is often dropping into the left back position. Davis is going up into the wide left attacking position, and Broadhead goes infield to play as a number 10, you know, a second number 10 with Connor Chaplin. It's very interesting to see them do that, but then they revert back to their normal starting position. So, you know, we're just trying to get some sort of movement amongst those three players just to make it difficult for Birmingham.
What a noise at St Andrews. Loving life, Birmingham fans. Of course, massive football club. This at a miserable time when they were relegated from the Championship, but since then it's been up and away under Chris Davies. This is the dream start to their Championship return at the moment. Let's see if Ipswich Town can be party poopers in the last few minutes. Only 2 to go of the 90. Little break and play because of an injury to Anderson, perhaps a strategic one. Another change for Birmingham. Taylor Gardner-Hickman is coming on. He's a decent player when I've seen him in the past, the likes of West Brom and Bristol City. Free kick, goal kick, sorry, to Birmingham. Allsop's going to be taking it. 1-0 his side leads. Change for Birmingham. Anderson is going off to be replaced by Gardner-Hickman. Standing ovation, of course, for him. Been that kind of night here at St Andrews. So, can Town get a point on the board on day one of the season, or will we have to wait until Southampton next Sunday? Allsop clears right-footed, up goes Greaves, sandwiched out, knocked forward by Humphreys. Hurst battling with Clara, both tugging onto the other's shirts. Clara's gone down holding his face. The referee's given the decision his way. It's a free kick for Birmingham. It's going to be a rare 90 minutes for the Ipswich Town starting number 9. Neither Delat nor Hurst got many 90 minutes last season. As the board goes up, it's been needs must tonight though. Town do, as we all know, desperately need more in terms of a striker. And also in midfield, I think we'd all agree. Still work to be done these next few weeks of the window. Allsop's way out of his area. We're about to be told how much added on time there is. And there is 8 minutes. Wow, that's
pretty good.
Bonus for Town. That'll do. Better news for Ipswich than Birmingham, that is. Not quite sure where it's come from, but we'll take it. Davis throws the ball to Chaplin. Chaplin with a nice touch to Broadhead. Broadhead can't get back to it. Led infield to Peck. Sandwiched out by 3 players. Out of play for a throw that Davis takes. Davis towards Chaplin. Be nice if those two can get their League One and Championship link-up play going again this season. Davis up through the centre circle to Young. No forward ball for the former Watford and Everton player. Instead he's gone back to O'Shea. O'Shea back to Young. Tries to play a 1-2 with Al-Hamidi. Doesn't work out. Doyle's on the ball for Birmingham. Doyle chips it forward for Dykes. O'Shea sees it goes back to Palmer. Palmer out towards Humphreys. Only a minute gone of the added on 8. We've had late goals go against Ipswich Town here in the past. Remember Nikola Zigic getting a late winner for Birmingham many years ago, the giant Serbian striker. Nice to see one go for them. Humphreys knocks a good looking cross into the area. Up goes Hurst challenging. Belted away as far as Greaves. Greaves to O'Shea. Wonder to see either of these two in an attacking position from open play. Greaves are showing anytime soon. Cameron Burgess used to do that for Ipswich quite a bit. Towards the end of matches, they were chasing. Broadhead loses the ball, but it is stabbed by a Birmingham player in favour of Ipswich. Humphreys has it. Back to Greaves. Humphreys again on the left-hand side, looks up, pulls the ball back into the centre, and O'Shea's looked comfortable since he came on. Humphreys, still just 21, Cameron Humphreys. Ashley Young, ball in field to Al-Hamadi, back to goal, edge of the area. Good, Town still knocking on the door. Chaplin's cross into the box towards the far stick, headed away by Laird. Davis will see it out of play for a corner kick to Ipswich Town. Don't rule them out.
Yeah, we're just sort of territorially, we're sort of beginning to gain that sort of advantage, and we're pushing towards the Birmingham box, and we're getting a few set plays, so there's still hope yet.
Certainly still hope for Ipswich Town when the ball is with this man, Ashley Young, from a set piece. His first corner as an Ipswich Town player on his debut. We know what kind of quality he offers, the former Manchester United player, as Birmingham fans throw bits and pieces at the former Villa man. Young crosses this corner kick beyond the far post, up goes Greaves, still inside the area. Al-Hamadi, referee's blown his whistle, and he has decided to give Ipswich Town a penalty kick.
I think so.
Nobody is quite sure what he's done at the moment. He seems to be signalling
it is a penalty.
Ipswich Town have been given a penalty kick in the 94th minute of this match. That seems to be the decision from Mr. Kitchen. He pointed towards his forearm as if to suggest a handball. Birmingham players incensed, the St Andrews crowd silenced. Just watching a replay of it, a hand goes up, headed by Greaves against the forearm of Dykes, and that's why the penalty kick has been given. Birmingham fans can't believe it. What an opportunity for Ipswich Town to get off the hook at the end of this championship game. Allsop is on his goal line, off to our left-hand side. George Hurst is on this penalty kick for Ipswich Town in the 94th minute at St Andrews. He scored at Sunderland 2 seasons ago when Ipswich Town started their promotion challenge with a victory in the North East. It's unlikely to be a victory tonight, but this could be an equally big goal if he can score and get a 1-1 draw. It's Hurst against Allsop, into the middle of the goal. It's 1-1 at St Andrews. George Hurst gets a late equaliser for Ipswich Town. You still with us, Mick?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just trying to see there's a real fight going on the pitch, Brenner. So I was really, obviously it's a good penalty. It's struck hard and low. It's dead centre, confused the goalkeeper. But there's a real
huddle. Oh, there's some silliness going on between players. The referee hasn't shown any interest in getting involved in it. There's a substitute, I think a Birmingham substitute in amongst it in a high-vis vest, but no stewards were involved. Hurst's involved in it. O'Shea's trying to calm things down as the captain. It's all really kicked off at the end of this match. Hurst up and running for the season. Now Allsop's having a go at somebody on the halfway line. Chaplin's been hauled away from Allsop. He's well out of his area. This game's going to drag on for a little bit longer. Still got a few minutes of this to go. There's so much Ashley Young now involved. Allsop's not calming down any. The referee needs some help. He's out there on his own. He's not really keeping up with all these various fracas. His assistants haven't really come on the field. Now it's finally calmed down of its own accord. And it's 1-1.
It's 1-1. I'm staggered that the penalty was given, first of all. I mean, for me, it's a header. The hand is probably 6 inches away from the header. Back to the ball. No, I think the referee was the only one in the whole stadium, including all 22 players on the pitch, didn't realise it was a penalty. So he's caused a bit of the trouble. We've got the goal. Take it. Let's go home. Got a point, happy, but wow.
Here we go again. Now there's more players getting involved. now it's Hurst. Oh, goodness me, we might be here to midnight even without VAR with this game. Hurst gone down off the ball. It'd be nice if we could see some football and just get through to the 90 whatever minute. With hopefully 22 players walking off the field when that final whistle goes. Chaplin's having a little whinge about something. It's just got very niggly and fractious in recent times. But yeah, goodness knows how long this game would have dragged on with VAR. We're not going to miss that this season.
Well, that's just become a popular thing now in the game, where the ball from a kickoff is passed back towards the goalkeeper, goes through the centre halves, somebody makes a sprint to challenge the ball, and a centre half just body checks the player that's making the run. And that's what happened to Hurst.
We're just looking back at the problems a few moments ago in a replay. So Chaplin tried to keep Clara out of things, and Clara didn't take too kindly to that, and that's what sparked it off. Anyway, players back underway. We should have 30 seconds of the 8 minutes to go. We've got a lot more than that to play relatively, so I don't rule out a winner for either of these sides, but goodness me, all evening I've just taken a 1-1 final score from this, and that's where we are at, thanks to that Hurst penalty. I couldn't agree more with you about the penalty. I thought it was a very soft penalty. Anything that Chris Davis has to say to criticise the decision, I'd agree with, but we had enough decisions go against Ipswich Town last season. Broadhead goes down. It's Ipswich Town ball, wide on the left-hand side. This place will go absolutely nuts if Ipswich Town can get a winner at the end of this game.
Not a bad place to get a free kick when you've been 1-0 down, you're nil 1-1. There's not hardly a minute to go. It's an opportunity.
Free kick to Ipswich Town, wide left. We are 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes into added on time at the end of this game, and it comes from Davis. It looks a really good ball, headed away by Birmingham defender. It was an excellent free kick. Taylor on the far side sees it out for a throw. Now he's been shoved to the floor, of course he has. To throw to Ipswich into the 54th minute of this second half. Well, a very, very good point this for Ipswich Town, if they can get it. Or who knows? Imagine if they go in and win it. Young waiting for Leif Davis, I think, to take this throw in. Town have committed plenty of players forward inside the penalty area, off to our left-hand side. O'Shea is in there, so too Broadhead, Chaplin, Hurst, nodded down, that behind by Clara. Town have got a corner kick. Dare we believe?
This is unbelievable.
Isn't it? Yeah, we're into the 10th minute of added on time at the end of this championship opener. Town have come back from the dead to be drawing 1-1. Can they snatch it right at the end? Left-footed from Davis to the far stick. Greaves heads it up, not back into a central area. Birmingham player goes down in the box. Free kick to Birmingham. It's looking more and more likely it's going to be on as even, and both teams with a point on the board, something to build on for both of them when week 2 rolls around. Allsop. TV camera zooming in on Chris Davis and Kieran McKenna, because surely the full-time whistle can't be far away. 10 minutes beyond the 90. Now we're into the 11th minute of added on time. Greaves with a header down. Broadhead wafts his foot at the ball. Goes out of play next to Kieran McKenna. Interesting to see how the league table looks when these two sides renew rivalries at Portman Road later on in the season. 10 o'clock now. Long throw down this touchline by Osei Samuel. Cleared away towards Hurst. Goes down under Neumann. Neumann then belts the ball out. And that's it. The full-time whistle. It's on as even on the opening night of the new championship season. Both of these sides returning to the second tier this season have drawn 1-1. Birmingham, the better side in that match, let's be honest, led through Stansfield, but that late penalty kick from George Hurst levelled things up, and they both have a point on the early championship table.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those situations where you've come away from home, you haven't played well, but at least you've kept yourself in the game for long enough So you've never gone more than sort of one goal behind, which is really roughly where the game should have been, really. Birmingham probably deserved that lead that they got, but they haven't been able to go on and extend that lead. It gives the opposition a chance. If they've got anything about them, they might just sort of engineer a little bit late surge, which Town did in a way. There was a little bit of determination about it. I think they've got very, very lucky with the penalty. I really do. Why the referee gives something like that, I don't know. He caused all the problems that he had after the penalty. I think that the referee caused that. The players are not innocent, but it ended up a rough and tumble game. Looking at it a little bit objectively, I would say that Birmingham are an okay side. They won't be in trouble in this division. They won't win it. They won't get automatic promotion. They'll be just okay. You know, they're not what you would call, you know, there's a lot of hype about them before the game. They honestly believed they could do what Town did, you know, where they came from the first division straight through the championship into the Prem. They can't, they won't do that. I'm absolutely sure.
Big words, big words.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure they won't do that. As far as Town is concerned, I half expected a disjointed performance because I don't think they've had a chance during pre-season to get together a starting 11. I think that their whole concentration has been on developing a squad of players as opposed to a team backed up by a group of players. You know, it's a different thing altogether, and consequently I think the performance was really, really bitty, and I don't think Durrow, Shane Greaves particularly played well as a partnership. The central midfield too certainly didn't gel as a partnership. Smodics and George Hurst never combined. Leif Davis, Jack Clark, that was A-OK. Ben Johnson, Ogbenny, A-OK. You know, there just wasn't enough in the team collectively and in the partnerships to really say, yeah, this was a decent performance. This can take us on to good things later on. You know, it can get us off to a good start. I think there's a lot of work to be done. We'll gain confidence during the week from the result, but it won't take away the fact that there is a lot of work on the training ground to be done, more than I anticipated, but there is going to be work. At least it's in the hands of somebody who is at his best on the training ground, and that's Kieran McKenna. But he has got to get an 11 together that will start the majority of the games, and I can't honestly see that the 11 that took the field today will be that 11. So let's hope that we've got players that can come in, we know that, but the hard work is to get the togetherness. When we went through the championship, there was a wonderful togetherness about everybody. You know, there were wonderful partnerships on the pitch, and that's where we've got to get. I don't care what division you play in, you've got to gel, you've got to be together, you've got to have those partnerships, and looking at that today, we haven't got it, but we will go away, having not been beaten, with a point, so we can take stock in a calm manner. You know, I think if we had lost, it might have been different. You might have had maybe too many opinions coming from the players rather than the management team, because that's what happens in football. We won't have that.
What do you make of Azor Matusiwa? He was the only debutant that started the game.
No, he didn't really come to grips with the game at all. You saw what often will happen. Jack Taylor, a raw, rugged sort of Englishman come Irishman, if you like, you know, where he was struggling, but he comes out of the game with something because he's got a lot of fire in his belly. Matusiwa was having a quiet game, he couldn't get into it, there was very little quality there, and he, like a lot of players from the continent, when that happens, they tend to disappear because they haven't necessarily got that real fire in their belly. So he disappeared from the game, and he actually got more and more untidy as the game went on. He was pretty close to sort of getting a second yellow card at times. So he has, this is his first game. He's got to now. He's seen it. He'll know what it's all about. And if he has got something about him, he can take stock and be in a better frame of mind the next game. But we know that with Jens Kajus coming into the club, he'll be with the next league game, Kajus to be there, and it'll be a question of who partners him. And the manager mustn't be too frightened of playing one of the players that's already been at the club to partner Jens Kajus if he thinks that Matisui needs a bit more time.
So lots of work to be done from Ipswich Town's perspective ahead of Southampton and Preston and Derby and so on, but at least they have got something from their championship opener. A really tough game it was too here away at Birmingham City, another side expected to be right up there in the top 6 this season. It was a late penalty, dubious decision, very, very tough call on Birmingham from the referee, but up stepped George Hurst, banged it down the centre into the net, and it's finished here at St Andrews. Birmingham City 1, Ipswich Town 1.